Lambeau for the Packers and the Colts. This is the third preseason game for both teams. Colts lost their first two by 20 to San Francisco at home, by 13 to the Bills in Toronto. The Packers have split their first two preseason games, lost to the Browns, one at Seattle, both 27-24 games. We'll see Aaron Rodgers first as the Packers have won the toss, or rather we'll see Peyton Manning first, as Indy won the toss and will receive. And Brandon James will bring it back for the Colts. I want to get a good look at James in the return game tonight, and he brings it out to the 33-yard line for Peyton Manning. Well, here he comes. The career records that he set take pages to list, threatening the top of the NFL record books. But there's one he set last year, 69% completion percentage, a personal best for Manning.
You know, Mike, you mentioned that completion percentage, and Peyton Manning loves to operate out of the shotgun. About 72% of his passes come out of the shotgun. He's completed 71.5%. He loves the gun.
First play, they will run it, trying to get this running game going after struggles last year. And this is a get-going moment as Joseph Adai takes it into the clear. Still on the sideline all the way at the 17-yard line. Big opening play gain of 49.
And that's what the Indianapolis Colts need. They need to revive this running game. Take a look at Adai coming off the left side. Just a simple weak side zone play. Excellent backside blocking. It allows Adai to do what he does best. Pick a hole and finish. Great start for the Colts.
You see the umpire market getting out of the way. Manning with the new rules, testing them right away and burning the Packers on a Pierre Garçon touchdown. 22 seconds. The sheriff knocks on the door.
Quick count, quick count, quick count. Everybody thinks Peyton Manning's going to milk the clock down to the last seconds, but here he catches the Packers completely off guard, taking advantage of his tempo. You see Nick Collins, the safety, caught flat-footed. What a start for the Colts.
John, you're absolutely right. Normally, Peyton Manning likes to stand there at the line of scrimmage, survey the defense. He went with the quick count. Just beautiful orchestration of the offense.
Still kicking now, year 15 in the league. Adam Vinatieri knocks it through. So in 22 seconds, 34 on the kick return, 49 on the run by Adai, 18 on the touchdown to Garçon.
McDonald's, I'm loving it. And IBM, let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet.
A little bit of the scene pregame. Outside Lambeau Field. Brats, chicken. We're enjoying a beautiful day. Temperature in the upper 60s as we kick this game off. Cool front coming through. And a high pressure system came blasting through the Packers defense. Peyton Manning and the Colts, two quick ones to make it a 7-0 lead. His Packer offense has been the quick strike one thus far in the preseason after burning the Green Bay secondary. We'll see what they do as they get their hands on the ball for the first time. Pat McAfee, the punter, is the kickoff man. Jordy Nelson on kick returns. Brought down at 30 by Deshae Townsend. Let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, some of these defenses that want to disguise their coverages, you better get Nick Collins to talk over here to this free safety rookie Morgan Burnett. They're communicating while the ball is snapped, and Peyton Manning shoots it down to the outside to Pierre Garçon. You cannot disguise your defense very well against Peyton Manning. He'll make you pay, Ron.
No question about it, John. Communication in that secondary is critical. Very poor by the Packers in that series.
Burnett could very well be starting because Atari Bigby's coming off ankle surgery. The veteran at that safety spot. Aaron Rodgers threw a deep pass to Greg Jennings to start the last preseason game. Jennings is out tonight. Bit of a back issue cropping up. So Ryan Grant runs it for nearly 7 first down yards, tackled by Antoine Bethea. So we go back to Aaron Rodgers, the 6th-year quarterback out of Cal. His outstanding season last year. Extraordinary, as Jaws talked about in both phases. But, John, what also impresses me now is his stewardship. He runs and commands this Green Bay offense.
No question. And a lot of guys don't like training camp. They don't like individual periods. This guy actually loves the preparation part of it. Boy, does it show.
Gain of 6. It's Grant to the left. Got a nice block from Scott Wells, the center, and Corey Hall, the fullback, for the first down. Grant, good season last year. The last 3 years, he's been one of the top rushers in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's a good fit for the style of offense the Packers like to run. It's that one cut, get it downhill. On a beautiful day like this, you know, what type of runs don't matter. You come here in December when it's cold, windy, and the field isn't real good, you want that one cut downhill runner. That's what Ryan Grant is.
3 straight runs for Grant, now in his 4th year out of Notre Dame. Bob Sanders comes to meet him there in the hole, the 46-yard line. We'll send you through the Green Bay offense. One place this team needs to be better early, offensive line.
They had their problems last year. They drafted Brian Bulaga in the first round out of Iowa. He's inactive tonight. But Chad Clifton at left tackle, Mark Tauscher at right tackle, 2 veterans, healthy, and that's a real positive because they like their center. Wells and college at left guard is coming on lately.
Bulaga, the first-round pick out of Iowa with a hip injury, practiced the other day when we were watching Green Bay on Tuesday, but not going here tonight. Rodgers' first throw for James Jones. That's incomplete. Kelvin Hayden over there on the coverage.
These are some of the things that Mike McCarthy has given Aaron Rodgers the freedom to do. It's a running play called, and Rodgers sees a look outside that basically gives him the freedom to just abort the handoff and shoot the ball outside on a one-step slant. They love that part of this offense, giving Aaron Rodgers the green light to cash in when he sees fit.
Now year 5 for Mike McCarthy as the Packer head coach. Using the hard count, causing the flag, and taking the shot downfield. Jones had an arm bar there, so had the second flag on Hayden. Wave off the offside, take that downfield penalty if it's in fact pass interference. We'll see the call.
There are 2 fouls against the defense on the play. Offsides, number 93. That penalty's declined. Pass interference. That ball we placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
It's a 48-yard penalty and first and goal Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers, the wily old veteran, goes with the hard count. He knows he's got a free play down the field as the Colts are offside. He's got that one-on-one matchup, the isolation route, and you can see the holding by Kelvin Hayden right there on James Jones.
Again, Jones getting the start because Greg Jennings out with a back injury that does not appear to be very serious. To the top of your screen, Green Bay sends the guy they are buzzing about in camp, Michael Finley, their tight end. Had a terrific camp for the Packers. Corner driver, one-hand catch, the back shoulder. They change it at the line, and they get 6. It's preseason, let them go, boys.
Well, this is why they came tonight. We expected this kind of a shootout. 2 of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, each guy leading their team right down the field.
Mason Crosby adds the extra point. 2 minutes, 35 seconds. Couple of touchdowns from the guys we talked about at the top. Manning and Rodgers working their magic early. 35 has a couple of year contract extension, still productive, franchise record holder in several receiving categories. Donald Driver capping off the Packers' initial drive of the night. And their offense has been terrific in the preseason. 7 series, 5 touchdowns. All tied at 7. Brandon James, the rookie out of Florida. Nice opening kick return. He's going to have another one there. He's spilled at the 22 by Corey Hall.
Take a look at the touchdown. Watch Aaron Rodgers' head. As soon as he looks over to Donald Driver, Driver sees it, and he knows I'm going to run the back shoulder fade, and Rodgers throws the ball perfectly. This is nonverbal communication, and the Green Bay Packers have this at the top of their playbook. They do it as well as any team in football.
Back to Manning and the Colts, who do not have Dallas Clark still out of their preseason lineup. Upper leg injury. They hope to have Clark back for the opener, although being quite quiet about that. He's taking a shot for Garcon. Safety's over there and broken up by Morgan Burnett, but he couldn't come up with the interception.
And that's what the Green Bay Packers have been telling us about their rookie safety, Morgan Burnett. He has excellent range in the back end. Watch this break on the ball. Burnett is a junior that came out of Georgia Tech. He's been very impressive, starting for the Packers since April 30th. Almost gets his first interception of the preseason.
Ever since those OTAs started, he was the guy at that #1 spot at safety. Second and 10. Manning slips it to Reggie Wayne. B.J. Raji, the second-year man out of Boston College. First-round pick last year. Made the tackle. We mentioned Dallas Clark, so we'll spin you through the rest of the Indianapolis offense. And in addition to Clark, one of the big significant guys missing, you talk about players up front. Jeff Saturday, the center, is out. Knee injury, could be a few more weeks. Not sure about him for the opener. And the left tackle, Charlie Johnson's out, so Tony Hugo's back in his old spot. 3rd and 10, or 14, I beg your pardon. Charles Woodson showing his nose up in the middle, now dropping back in coverage. As Manning throws underneath, intended for Anthony Gonzalez, broken up by Nick Barnett. 3 and out for the Packer D.
The key was the 3-man pressure by the Green Bay defense. They forced Peyton Manning to move. Peyton Manning with 8 in coverage really had all tight windows thrown into him, could not squeeze it in. But the 3-man rush created the pressure.
Pat McAfee did a nice job in his rookie year punting for Indianapolis. Will Blackman is the return man for Green Bay. Tore his ACL in a game we had last October 5th. Big kick. 55 yards. Blackman took it on the run and brought it back to the 38-yard line. Special teams pulled down by Brandon King, one of the backup DBs. 3 and out for the Colts in their second drive. Rodgers up next. It's been a fun couple of weeks watching the Little League World Series get to the International Championship game with Japan and Chinese Taipei. 2 terrific teams on ABC at 1 Eastern. Then the U.S. title game. Texas earned its way in earlier today. Take on the winner of Georgia-Hawaii. They're still battling within their side tonight over on ESPN2. So you'll see that action on ABC Saturday. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers take over at their own 37. And Rodgers nearly brought in by Driver at midfield against an Indianapolis defense. Larry Coyer became the defensive coordinator last year. He's here in year 2. Ron, one of the nice things for him, all these faces are familiar faces, bringing guys back this year. The entire starters.
Yeah, all 11 starters are back, and now you throw Bob Sanders into the mix. You got some tools in the toolbox if you're Larry Coyer right now, and he will use them. Very much a scheme defensive coordinator.
We saw Dwight Freeney there, and then of course Sanders, former defensive player of the year, but has been hurt a lot the last 2 years. Ryan Grant runs to the right, and Gary Brackett, terrific in the middle of that defense with the stop.
Well, this Gary Brackett, for an undrafted free agent out of Rutgers, to do what he's done. Watch him key the flow of the back, scrape over the top, and make a form tackle. He's one of the few linebackers that Bill Polian has ever re-signed, Mike. They've had Mike Peterson and Cato June, David Thornton. They rewarded Brackett with a $33 million extension. You can see why.
It's a priority to keep the captain in the middle of that defense. Rodgers checking it down to Brandon Jackson. Will be taken down at the 40-yard line. Melvin Bullock, who really made a name for himself when Bob Sanders was hurt over the last couple of years, makes that play to force a punt.
Well, as you watch the defense of the Indianapolis Colts, they gave Aaron Rodgers a lot of different looks up front. But once the ball was snapped, they only rushed 3. You get in that 3rd and long situation. Boy, those are tight windows. 8 are dropping into coverage.
Big story in Packer camp. Punting competition. Chris Bryan and Tim Mastey are battling. They say it's an even battle. Mastey, the other kickers from Kentucky, played in the SEC. This guy, Bryan's from Australia. Never kicked in a football game until these preseason games. And this one goes out of bounds about the 22-yard line. And every kick is vital to these guys in practice. And of course, when it counts under the lights at Lambeau. Little journey down the Fox River, which goes right to downtown Green Bay, all even at 7 here. Well, navigating some of the traffic around the football is one of the stories of this season. With the placement of the umpire in the backfield, not behind the nose tackle where he normally is. It's going to factor with the Colts especially. A guy with the run, Ryan Pickett with the tackle, gain of 3 yards. So the umpire comes in. That's Garth DeFelice, veteran umpire in the league. He marks the ball. Now the Colts with their no huddle, they always want to get up there and go quick. They're not going at a super quick tempo here, but they've got to wait till DeFelice is out of the way of the big uglies there before they can snap and be ready for play. See where he's standing there? That's going to slow down the Colts at times, and Indianapolis is not happy with this change in the league rules. And we'll show you how it impacted the touchdown play a moment ago. 2nd and 7, Manning pressured and throws complete to Gonzalez for the first down at the 36.
Well, I don't like the rule of having the umpire behind a quarterback. I don't want my quarterback to have to wait. I don't want him having to look at the umpire and take his eyes off the defense. I don't like it, Ron.
Well, especially when teams run that up-tempo style, it does slow them down. I'm on the same page you are in regards to that.
Manning hands to a dive, goes to the left for a yard. Now you see, it's almost like DeFelice is standing in Manning's way, and Peyton's kind of getting out of his way. What they had told the quarterbacks originally was, you're going to have to look backwards at the ref or the umpire to make sure the umpire's in position and know, okay, now you can snap the ball. Well, the Colts said, baloney. We're not going to have our quarterback look backwards. So there's been an adjustment. The quarterback can look over to the linesman at the top of the screen there in front of the down box. And when he points over there, thank you, Jaws, that tells Peyton Manning, okay, now it is legal for you to snap the ball. 2nd and 9, a pump and a throw for Manning, complete to Reggie Wayne into Green Bay territory at the 28-yard line. Tramon Williams with the tackle.
Well, they can put the umpire on the top of the stadium when Peyton Manning comes to town. Put him wherever you want. Manning, the previous play resets, throws a beautiful ball inside. There he resets, throws the ball in the hole to the outside. This guy keeps the pressure on at any time. If you blow a coverage or don't get a reroute on the outside, he's going to hurt you.
Gain of 35, Garcon reversing around. Jamie Richard couldn't get out to throw him a block. Tramon Williams from tackle. Let's go back to that touchdown play that I talked about, guys, in the first series. There's DeFelice, the umpire, in there marking the ball. Peyton now will look over toward the linesman at the top who points ready for play, and he can go as the umpire's backpedaling.
Yeah, but you mean to tell me Peyton Manning's got to look to his left to see when he can snap the ball after doing it one way for 12 years? I don't like the rule.
That is the rule right now, John. Peyton is not happy about it, that's for sure.
Manning feels pressure, steps away. What a catch by Wayne underneath. Williams makes the tackle right at the first down line.
Well, people always want to talk about mobile quarterbacks. You know, they're not always the guy that runs for 30 or 40 yards. It's moving in the pocket. Peyton Manning does an excellent job of avoiding the rush of B.J. Raji and checks the ball down.
So we're going to get a measurement here or time? I think we are going to get a measurement for the first down. Hey, guys, just back to the point with the umpire. Peyton telling us last night, I don't like it. They are, again, here tonight, testing the envelope to see how this is really going to work when it matters, because you guys can best explain the advantage to the defense and the disadvantage to the Colts by having the umpire have to get out of the way for Indianapolis's no huddle.
Well, as we saw on Peyton's touchdown pass, his right arm was, come on, get the tempo going, get the tempo going. He wants to run the game at his tempo, not the officiating tempo. If the umpire's in his way, that 1 or 2 seconds is going to help the defense get set.
The whole thing Indianapolis is trying to do is eliminate substitutions. They want to snap the ball while you're substituting and get a free play or a 5-yard penalty. With this new rule, that can't happen, and they're not happy about it.
First and 10 at the 18. Manning gives to a dive, and he stopped there for no gain. And just that last point, when they wanted Peyton to look behind him and wait for a signal, Peyton said, hey, that goes against everything I've ever been taught as a quarterback. I'm not taking my eyes off of it. So we'll watch the test as it goes on tonight.
Mike, it's not only Peyton Manning. Every quarterback in the league, you've never been trained to look to your right to the umpire to tell you go run the play. You're always checking the defense. You're checking the front. You're checking the safety. Trying to get some pre-snap indicator of what the defense will be. You're looking at substitutions. To look at the referee was just ridiculous.
When the sheriff doesn't like the law, sometimes they change it a little bit. Manning, Wayne with a hair too tall for Reggie. Jamal Williams again covering.
Williams on the coverage.
That is a double move by Reggie Wayne. And you see Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, they go everywhere together. I saw them out here 3 hours before the game running that route. A quick out. They try to bait Williams into jumping on it. And Reggie takes it up, and this ball is just overthrown, or they got another play. But Reggie Wayne always lines up on the left. Every week, every year, he lines up on the left, and he can run a lot of different routes from that location.
What did he tell us last night? I'd like to see what the grass looks like on the other side. Third and 10, delay again. Remember, Jeff Saturday not in there at center.
Delay a game. Offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Jamie Richard has slid in there for tonight. Mike Pollock's over at left guard.
I think it's tough on the Colts. They've worked so hard in trying to get their running game going. They've got a new offensive line coach here in Pete Metzlars. They wanted Charlie Johnson to be the left tackle, Ugo at left guard, Saturday at center. A number of injuries have made it hard to get the running game cranked up. And I'm sure it's frustrating.
And also no Dallas Park at tight end.
Packers rush 3, cover with 8. And Manning's throw is broken up. They are doing a lot of testing of that left side. Nick Collins and Jamal Williams have denied a few passes.
So Dom Capers is doing a really good job of understanding the down and distance. The Colts have been in these third and long situations, so he's rushing 3 and putting a lot of bodies in coverage. Nick Collins right there does a good job of reading Peyton's eyes. That'll take him to the ball. But when you've got that kind of situation, third and long, it's a lot easier for those secondary guys to peer in the backfield and look at the quarterback.
Adam Vinatieri's now 37 years old. It's a 41-yard field goal try. The man who's won 2 Super Bowls at the gun. Gives Indianapolis a 3-point lead. Ball doubleheader opener will continue with the Chargers in Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Peyton Manning talking to Clyde Christensen, the new offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. Tom Moore is still here as a senior offensive assistant. The penalty marker on this kickoff. The Colts were offside as it's taken by the fullback John Kuhn to the 25-yard line. Time on the other side of the mind game when the Colts have the ball. It's Dom Capers, the Packers defensive coordinator.
Well, one thing about Dom Capers, he's not going to let his defense show their hand until about 5 seconds on that clock, as you see on the bottom left. Look at the Green Bay Packers muddling around. It's like an amoeba defense, Jaws. Everybody's standing up, moving around, and watch that clock. As it ticks down around 5 or 6 seconds, they get into their defense. Confuses the young center, Peyton Manning. Got to take a delay of game. Don't be surprised if that next third down, they don't bring the heat.
Dom told us he wants to put some pressure. He wants to see if his corners can play, if those safeties can play. And what a good matchup. You got Peyton Manning and the plethora of wide receivers and tight ends he has. Hey, let's find out about your young players in a very important preseason game.
And you had mentioned Dom Capers. You saw the guy down there coaching the outside linebackers, Kevin Green, who used to play outside linebacker.
Played it very well.
Seemed to use it tonight.
Yeah. I saw him on the field. I said, how you doing? He said, I'd love to have a snap or two left in me. What a night. Lambeau, Peyton Manning. From the 31, Aaron Rodgers throws complete to James Jones right near the first down marker. Sam Bradford starting tonight against the Patriots. Stuart Scott, what's he up to?
Stuart Scott, SportsCenter in-game in the studio. Welcome to the show, Sam Bradford. He is starting and rolling. His second touchdown pass to another rookie, Michael Hoamanui. Manawanui. His nickname is Uh-Oh. Uh-Oh. How about Sam Bradford? 2 touchdown passes against the Patriots, Mike.
Love it. Welcome to the league. Good chance for Bradford. A.J. Feely injured last week in the preseason.
Let's just go right now.
Down gain of 9. Ryan Grant gets the first down here as he's brought down by Philip Wheeler. I like the way Grant's running here tonight, guys.
I do too, and they get into that jumbo personnel, 2 tight ends and 2 backs, and they put in that fullback number 45, Quinn Johnson. Watch it right off your left side. The lead block by Johnson, bounce outside by Dorsey Levens. And quietly, Dorsey Levens has put back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons on the board. Ryan Grant, I'm sorry.
You must smell bratwurst and go back to your Green Bay days.
I see that green 25.
I know.
I saw a Paul Hornung jersey. I've seen it all this week, fellas.
But you were here as an assistant coach, and you saw Edgar Bennett, who's the running backs coach for Ryan Grant.
Yeah, I'm all confused.
Well, that's nothing new.
A lot of tradition here. There have been so many great players, great memories. And as you said earlier, this is the cathedral of football, if you ask me. Look at this crowd, this atmosphere for a preseason game. There's nothing like it.
Injury for the Colts here, and it's one of concern. Gary Brackett down on a knee. That's the middle linebacker, the captain we talked about. So as they take a peek at Brackett, the medical staff will step out here for a second. 10-7 Colts. What concern is Brackett's holding his right hand. Be right back. Too many medical degrees around that right hand of Gary Brackett not to be worried if you're a Colts fan. You'll see Brackett trying to make the tackle on this play a moment ago, and his hand just got caught in there. We'll show you in a second. But certainly concern on the Indianapolis sideline. Their captain, their middle linebacker, is shaking up. Pat Angerer, the second-round pick in this year's draft out of Iowa, is in there as Dan Muir jumped offside. It's his first-year referee, Clete Blakeman.
Encroachment on the defense, number 90. It's a 5-yard penalty, still second down.
He was right in the middle of the stack here. Let's try to get a look. Watch Philip Wheeler 50 with the dreads. See his helmet come in there. Watch Brackett's arm pull out of there. Can't see for sure, but my guess, John, the helmet right there. Yeah, there he is. See it? That's a good look, guys. Thanks. Wheeler's helmet gets Brackett right there, and I'm sure he's going in for some x-rays. That would be crushing for this team. Second and 2 for Rodgers. Too tall for Jermichael Finley. Bob Sanders stuck him, but that's a defenseless receiver. And that's a penalty.
You'll see the play action right here. And Bob Sanders right in the middle playing free safety. Jermichael Finley throws a little bit high by Aaron Rodgers, but he is defenseless. And here comes Bob Sanders. He's going to put the helmet right in the small of the back. And then comes the flag. It's all about player safety. Roger Goodell pushing that element of the game. as well as the officials.
You know, Bob Sanders doesn't know any other way to play. This man right here will smash you. He's missed football. He's been out of it for basically 2 years. This is the NFL defensive MVP in 2007. But the NFL is cracking down on leading with the head. But Bob Sanders, if he can come back to the form he had in 07, I think the Colts have the best 1-2 safety combination in football. He and Bethea.
Rodgers moves it to the 31. Pressure picked up. Driver down there. Good coverage, Jacob Lacey. Incomplete. You guys talk about getting Bob Sanders back in his defense. Bethea and Bullock did a good job, but Bob Sanders essentially in his career, he started 47 games. He's missed 49. He's missed more than he has started, and Indianapolis would love to get him on the field. The question now, this defense is different than when he was here last time. How does this Bob Sanders fit into this defense?
Well, when you talk to Larry Coyer, he'd like him to play a little more free safety in the middle of the field. You know, use that athleticism in coverage rather than be on a box safety at the line of scrimmage and beating his body up. So I think he'll be a little more fresh as the season wears on from lack of contact.
Second and 10, Rodgers to Finley, complete. Jacob Lacey with the tackle.
You know, defensive coordinator Larry Coyer does an excellent job rotating personnel. They're much more specialized, I think, than they have been. Remember, number 21, that safety, Bob Sanders, he was a box hitter for basically 3 or 4 years. Now he becomes a guy that can play all over the field, and the Colts have a lot more rotation in their defensive line. There's a lot more they can do defensively.
Great on this down. Third down, Rodgers to Driver. Stopped short by Sanders. And the strength that he plays with at his speed doesn't allow a strong guy like Driver to break through and get the first down.
Well, Mike, you mentioned Aaron Rodgers on third down, and he is absolutely outstanding. But you'll see right here, you're going to see the quick out to Driver. Here comes Sanders closing quickly, and he holds him up just short of the first down. But to finish my thought there, Aaron Rodgers on third down last season, 14 touchdowns, no interceptions, 67% complete. Those are ridiculous numbers on the toughest down in football.
Packers going to go for it here on fourth down. Quinn Johnson, one of the fullbacks, is in there. Rodgers trying to keep it. The mosh pit keeps moving forward, but it depends where the head linesman and line judge mark it.
I think he came up short. The one thing that's different under Larry Coyer here is they've got a lot bigger defensive tackles than they've had in previous years. And on a quarterback sneak, that helps him.
With Dan Muir playing up there, that has been the one spot on this defense. The great pass rushers, bracket at linebacker, the safeties like Bob Sanders. They've always had good players, but they've struggled so mightily to find that strong guy on the nose. Jim Caldwell, now in his second year as head coach.
John, are you on record of being short?
That challenges Spot.
It is short. And the Colts do a good job on defense on this series. And there is Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator. Rodgers completing passes, 5 completions, done more than 10 yards, and they get him off the field.
You know, one of the most impressive things about these two teams is the turnover ratio. The Green Bay Packers, don't forget, last year were plus 24. That hasn't happened since 1983. And this guy, Peyton Manning, over the last 5 years, nobody's better with the turnover ratio than the Indianapolis Colts. There's a reason why these two franchises continue to win.
The umpire, Garth DeFelice, has been doing this a long time. He lined up in his old spot. You see that? Whoop, I belong over here, don't I?
The preseason, Mike.
It is a big adjustment, especially for DeFelice. For the 22-manner. Downfield, clearing is Garcon. Pierre Garcon to the 46-yard line. They'll mark him. His helmet comes off, so that immediately, with a new rule change, kills the play.
Pierre Garcon gets the one-on-one route, but it all started with the protection. Manning had time. You'll see Garcon work up the field. I love at the top of the stem, that little stick move. That creates the separation that you have to have. You got to wait for Sam Sears.
Gain of 24. Manning throws incomplete. I'll tell you again, They tried to spot the ball again, and they couldn't do it quick enough. Manning was trying to hustle and get going, get going. You see he's talking to them right now about it.
He's going to test every rule. He's going to see what I can do, what I can't do, and he's going to continue to push the envelope tonight.
Well, this is going to be good experience for this officiating crew and for the officials in general, because Peyton, he's going to push it. He's trying to push it. He's going to stress them.
Donald Brown, last year's first-round pick out of the University of Connecticut. Brady Papinga and Mike Neal over there to make the stop. Neal is the second-round pick for the Packers out of Purdue.
Well, Indianapolis, they continue to struggle running the football, and it puts more and more pressure on Peyton Manning, finding the right play, the right pass protection, the right route combination. They have got to find a way to be more functional running the football, because these third down and 11s put you in hopeless situations against a good defense like Green Bay.
Anthony Gonzalez at the point of the triangle here to his right. Good to have him back off the injury last year. Manning buys time and in stride hits a dive. Joseph, a dive into the secondary and pulled down by the rookie Burnett at the 22, gain of 33.
Once again, the awareness of Peyton Manning. Eyes downfield, looking for someone to break open. Throws across his body to Joseph, a dive. But again, we talk about mobility for a quarterback. It's eyes downfield, finding a receiver.
After one at Lambeau, Manning and the Colts lead by 3. As Peyton Manning hits age 34 in year 13, the perspective, he's still chasing Brett Favre, 50 wins behind the all-time leader in that category, in every significant quarterback category. Peyton has 131 touchdowns to catch Favre, whose odometer is still running in Minnesota with the Vikings, where he will get start 286 if healthy on opening weekend, and Peyton Manning will get start 193. They're 1-2 on that list.
Peyton Manning, and when you think about a 23-game winning streak, a 14-game winning streak last year, the guy finds a way to get it done. 43 come from behind wins, trailing in the fourth quarter.
Did a good job of being the media guy.
Impressive with your stats.
Did you steal some of John's stats?
I'm telling you, I've been working all night.
From the 22, here is the Sheriff. Manning's pass is caught by Gonzalez, ruled inbounds at the 5. And this is a play where Manning wants to go quick, so there's no replay challenge.
Mike, you're absolutely right. The minute he saw that ball close to the sideline, he sprinted up to the line, telling his guys, attack, let's go, we got to move.
That's the referee spotting the ball and didn't get back clear of the deepest back, and a flag is thrown. Let's see what the call is here.
Illegal snap. Offense, number 18. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
That's the exact situation we were talking about. He's pushing the limit, and he got caught.
Here's your umpire right here.
Who's supposed to be spotting the ball, but is not.
The referee right there spotted the ball. He's running out of there.
But one of the things in the rule was that official has to be deeper than the deepest back. And he was even with Donald Brown. That's why he threw the flag. Manning says, take that. Reggie Wayne, and a touchdown for Indianapolis.
The mechanics of the officiating is going to be reviewed carefully after tonight.
Yes.
But Peyton Manning, once again, is the Iceman. He's not distracted. He doesn't let it get to him. Hangs in there on a 3-step drop, throws a bullet 1 foot in front of Reggie's number, who finishes the play. They got to get this solved.
Mechanics of Peyton Manning are fine. The officials have some things to work on.
Wayne has 4 grabs here on the night. Vinatieri adds the extra point. And this Colts offense looks in mid-season form. 17 points in a quarter and a few snaps here at Lambeau.
Reebok ZigTag, the energy drink for your feet. And Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Quite a scene here at Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Population 102,000. Sellout crowd here tonight. Colts leading the Packers 17-7. Well, after that flag with Peyton Manning pushing the envelope on this change in spotting the ball and moving the umpire, that was his reaction back to the referee. And we mentioned Tom Moore, the former offensive coordinator, now the senior offensive assistant over there sitting with Peyton on the bench. Jordy Nelson takes the Garrett Lindholm kickoff out to the 24-yard line. Just tuning in, here's how we've arrived at 17-7. Peyton Manning moving down the field in less than 30 seconds. Touchdown of Pierre Garçon, and Aaron Rodgers' response to Donald Driver. Since then, 10 for the Colts, including a pass to Reggie Wayne just a moment ago. Manning's 9 of 14 with 2 touchdowns. Maybe the biggest story of the night thus far, John and Jaws. Gary Brackett, middle linebacker for the Colts, injuring his right hand, not going to return, taken back for x-rays. The quarterback numbers great for Manning. Let's see what Rodgers does on this series for Green Bay. Ryan Grant starts the Packers' 4th series, met by Bob Sanders and stopped immediately at the 31.
And man, was he stopped. That's what you get from Bob Sanders. I mean, he comes crashing down from his safety position. Watch Bob Sanders. Looks like a deep half player. He sees the handoff, and Ryan Grant just gets stoned. That's what Bob Sanders, he brings it. Whew.
Remember in 2009, he hurt his knee, came back for a couple of games, very briefly playing in that second game, then tore his biceps. It was a blessing in disguise. He gave the knee more time to properly heal, not rushing his way back. Grant powers forward. The ball's on the ground, and the Packers come back up with it. At the bottom of the pile, it's Scott Wells. That's Sanders who knocked it free, guys?
Bob Sanders is all over the field. The one thing Ryan Grant does not do is fumble the football. But watch the left side of your screen. Bob Sanders, Pearson off the edge to make the big hit. Whew. Great to see Bob Sanders back in action.
It is what made him the defensive player of the year in 07, and the reason he didn't play a lot in 08 and 09. It's hard for him to stay healthy with that size body, and he only knows one speed, full on out. Rodgers loading up, and he's covered deep, and his pass is incomplete. Aaron loves that play.
That's an excellent job by the Colts rookie middle linebacker, Pat Angerer. Watch the middle linebacker recognize the bootleg. He's not fooled. He's going to turn, wheel with the tight end, runs right to the junction of that over route. They like Pat Angerer, and he's going to have to really step up until we know further what exactly is wrong with Gary Brackett. But this guy is an excellent young football player. They like him in Indianapolis.
He's got a hand injury. The Colts are officially reporting him as questionable to return. You would assume there's no way he's coming back with an injury going back likely for x-rays, and this being a preseason game. James Jones with the grab, pulled down by Buffet. You mentioned Angerer, the second-round pick out of Iowa, a 2-year starter for Kirk Ferentz' team.
What a name for a linebacker, Angerer. We really liked him in our studies, Ron, for the draft. 2-year leading tackler for the Iowa Hawkeyes, played every down in the nickel and the base. He's a good blitzer, collision player, great production in a winning program at Iowa. Pat Angerer.
Third and 3, haven't called the name Mathis or Freeney yet tonight. 2 great defensive ends. Freeney gets there a second late. Driver's got the first down, just shy of the 49-yard line.
Well, you see the Colts. They're bringing everybody right here. You see man-to-man across the board. No one in the middle of the field. They're going to bring the pressure. Don't get it. Ball comes out quickly. Aaron Rodgers does a nice job of recognizing the coverage that they're going to blitz. Get the ball out of your hand quickly. First down, Packers.
First down, Rodgers throw to Jordy Nelson. Out of bounds, gain of about 7. Jaws, you mentioned it on the last series. These extraordinary third down passing numbers for Rodgers last year. Completed 2 out of every 3 third down passes. Average gain just about 11. And did not throw an interception. Hasn't thrown an interception since December of 2008 on third down.
Supposed to be the toughest down in football. You know, when you look at the coverages you see on third down, the hybrid coverages, the blitzes, trying to confuse the quarterback, they don't confuse Aaron Rodgers.
Second and 2, throw complete to Jermichael Finley with a flag down inside the 30. Veteran Deshae Townsend, now a Colt, made the stop. It's Deshae, 5'10". It's tough to cover this guy. Is he 6'5"? Jermichael Finley?
You know, when we got in Green Bay, you know, we talked to a lot of people. Like,
Holding. Defense, number 23. That penalty's declined. Yardage is enough for
probably
first down.
like hundreds of people, all our production meetings and the people that we talked to at practice. The first words out of everyone's mouth were Jermichael Finley. What a camp this guy is having, and what a year they expect from him. And he is showing up right now.
Rodgers, screen, Jackson's a very good screen team, the Packers. And a gain of 10.5 for the first down for Jackson.
Well, they're a great screen, and they throw screens to all kind of players. This is an excellent job by Rodgers, looking to his right, seeing the throw, and they get excellent phasing out in front. Lineman leading the screen, right down the numbers. That's a textbook Green Bay Packers screen. Nice call, good way to slow down this Indianapolis pass rush.
What do you mean by phasing?
Got your blockers well distributed in front of you.
Gives a running back like Jackson a chance to pick his spot, make that game there. Good drive going here for Rodgers to the Packers. Brandon Jackson gets a couple of yards.
You know, one of the things that Green Bay Packers do is they use a dummy snap count, a false count. They try to read what the Colts are doing. And Aaron Rodgers has to get the play in quickly from Mike McCarthy. That gives him a chance to go up to the line of scrimmage. Set hut! Then he starts his count over. He can recognize who's coming, what coverage it is, and it helps the Packers stay in optimum situations.
Well, you see, they broke the huddle with 20 seconds left on the clock. That gives Rodgers a lot of time at the line of scrimmage to get him into that good look, as John just said. What do you call it? Ringo, Ringo, Ringo. You hear it.
Pressure picked up long enough to toss it. Wide open to Finley. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Well, it was a pass play, obviously, and Ringo was sliding that protection to Aaron Rodgers right. You'll see him making the call right here. There's the protection. The offensive line making a call. Slide it to the right. But here's what you just got to like about Aaron Rodgers. Keeping the play alive. Extend the play. Find Jermichael Finley alone in the back of the end zone.
Mason Crosby adds the extra point. Rodgers has hit his last 6 passes. A 76-yard drive. And if you're thinking about fantasy football and tight ends, just a guess, if healthy, there are a lot of Lambeau leaps coming from 88 this year. Now we give you a 10 for the creativity here on this one. The 4 Favre from the Green Bay Jets and the Vikings equaling the 12. I will say this, guys, as we've come here over the last couple of years, see fewer and fewer Favre jerseys, and you have to give all the credit to this guy. On and off the field, he's handled a difficult situation with great aplomb. Brendan James returning for the Colts. Took it out to the 21-yard line. The special teams tackle Jarrett Bush. Peyton Manning back on the field in a very entertaining preseason game. A lot studying him, John.
Well, there's certain things you can't coach. Picking up blitzes, making audibles is one thing, but when you watch Aaron Rodgers stand in the pocket, remember the blitz is on, and the Colts are an outstanding rushing team. But look at this guy, keep his eyes downfield, stand in the pocket like nobody's around him, and he'll take a hit and deliver strikes. That is impressive. Hard to coach.
The arm strength was evident on that throw off the back foot, falling backwards.
From the 21, Joseph Adai to the right, no gain. Ryan Pickett over there to lead.
You know, Mike,
attack.
I'm watching Charles Woodson up here. He's playing corner in the slot, playing bump and run. I watch another film. He's playing free safety. Then he's playing strong safety. He's the nickel. He's the dime. You want to stop Calvin Johnson, you put him at corner. You want to stop Vernon Davis at tight end, you put him at strong safety. This is a great player, the defensive MVP from a year ago.
Second and 10, Manning it all. The pressure picked up. Brody Eldridge, rookie tight end out of Oklahoma, with a gain of about 6.
Yeah, this is Dom Capers. He loves this right here. This is the old Dick LeBeau, fire X up the middle, bring those both linebackers. You see a really nice job by the Colts of picking it up. That is a staple of a Dom Capers defense. You're going to get those two linebackers crisscrossing right up the middle.
The last second change was to that. A dive knocked out of bounds by Barnett. First down. The flag asked for and received from the Colts sideline. So tack on 15 to take this shy of midfield.
This guy, Peyton Manning, he'll use every second. This ball gets snapped inside of 1 second. Look at the hand signal over here to Joseph Adai and Pierre Carson. These two guys are like robots. He'll tell them what to do at the last second, and these Colt receivers and backs can function. It's an amazing offense.
And the pressure is put on the young guys to come in. Clyde Christensen said it best. You know, we don't start at page 1. We start at like chapter 17. You better get yourself caught on up to this offense.
Mike, what do you mean the young guys? Clyde told us there's a lot of pressure on him because of Peyton Manning.
He said he's got more gray hair now than he's ever had.
He couldn't take a vacation. He had to hide.
Pressure here, and Manning will just get rid of it as Mike Neal, that rookie from Purdue, came in to get a shot at Peyton Manning. You know, to the point of what Clyde Christensen was saying and those last second adjustments by Manning, I love how he put it. He said, you know, you have countries and birds and fish, all things that are called at the line of scrimmage, but then you have fake countries and fake birds, and you've got to sort all that out. And Reggie Wayne said, people always ask me, is all those gyrations, some of them aren't real, right? Reggie said, no. They all mean something. Trust me. Here's a run with a dive across midfield. Like, you guys have been around so many quarterbacks over the years who you played with, and John, guys that you coached. Have you ever seen the complete package like Manning brings?
No, let's not talk about the talent. Every day is a crisis for this guy to get better. He craves knowledge, and he wants to work with his teammates. I'd hate to be a receiver on the Indianapolis Colts because they're always on call. They'll call these guys at 10 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the morning, tell them a new hand signal. This gesture this week means this. This guy has got complete control over the Indianapolis Colts. I love him for that.
The things they do have never been done in the history of the NFL. They are so far ahead of the learning curve.
3rd and 7. Woodson came in on a stunt and a dive, stoned him with the block. But the pass was incomplete. Broken up nicely by Nick Collins. A lot of good stuff on that play. 4th down coming up here.
Well, that's about the first 3rd down. We've seen Dom Capers dial up the pressure. And that's what Dom Capers does. He gives you a 3-man rush, then another 3-man rush. He lulls you to sleep, and then all of a sudden, here they come.
Pat McAfee put a 1/3 of his punts inside the 20 last year. There's guys who drops it straight down, so it goes end over end like a kickoff, and it's fielded smartly by Will Blackman inside the 10. Brings it out to the 24-yard line. This Colts offense has been moving along pretty well. Peyton and company a little frustrated off the last drive. Packer ball when you come back. 17-14, Colts lead here at Lambeau Field. 6:06 remaining in the first half. One more preseason games for these teams, and then the regular season starting in a couple of weeks. Packers take over at their own 25 with Aaron Rodgers at the helm and Brandon Jackson the back. There's Dwight Freeney getting pushed out of the way by Clift in the tackle, and Jackson, the running back, gets a first down gain of 10.5.
Aaron Rodgers never loses his poise. Makes an excellent fake. He keeps his feet alive. He resets. Makes an accurate throw to an outlet receiver, but a lot of quarterbacks panic. They take off. They throw an errant pass. This guy is calm and cool.
You know, you got to give some love to Chad Clifton right now and Mark Tauscher, those 11-year veteran tackles. They've been holding their own against Robert Matheson, Dwight Freeney. Mike, I think it's the first time I heard Freeney's name a moment ago.
Holding may have been the operative verb there. He had Freeney locked in. Rodgers has hit his last 7. Downfield shot for Driver. Just back the other way. It's incomplete. And that snaps the string. Jacob Lacey covering there.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is becoming one of the elite quarterbacks in the National Football League. What a beautiful back shoulder throw for the touchdown. The timing of these routes on third down are just incredible. And look at this throw to Michael Finley. Tough throws, stick throws, and the movement in the pocket, allowing Finley to buy some time down the field. Throwing, falling backward, showing a strong arm. Aaron Rodgers, yardage tonight good. I love the fact that he doesn't turn the football over. Very judicious carrying of the ball.
16 turnovers, won a game for this team last year. James Jones takes the quick shot, makes a man miss, and gets the first down. Buffet hit him, but Jones spun clear to the 46.
Watch this release by Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be a blitz up the middle. Watch him catch and release. It looks like a shortstop for the New York Yankees. He looks like Derek Jeter. Man, he can get rid of the ball quick. And you say he's becoming an elite quarterback?
Yeah, becoming
what do you have to do to be elite, Ron?
He's played 2 years. Win a couple playoff games.
Watch a few more
Win
films.
a couple playoff. Win some playoff games. I'll put him up there.
Okay.
All right, he's darn good.
Jewelry.
Jewelry.
The password to the club is jewelry. Right?
I'm with you, Mike.
All right. I'm just trying to help you. I got to help you once again. Here's Jackson.
With this guy next to me, I need a lot more help.
Buffet and Angerer make the tackle. Give you an idea, and Jaws alluded to the numbers in the beginning, what a good runner he is. The only quarterbacks in a single season to throw for 4,030, which are really good, and run for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns, which is really good. But the combo platter doesn't happen many places. Steve Young, and 11 years later, Aaron Rodgers.
The 300 yards rushing will dictate to the defense. When they see that this guy can run with the football, score with the football, it'll force them to play zone coverage against man. If he breaks the pocket, he's going to move the chains.
There's that elusiveness, the escapability, and try to throw on the run for Finley, incomplete.
I get tired of looking at all these stats, Ron. I really do. How about Aaron Rodgers replacing Brett Favre? Now, how many guys replace Brett Favre in Green Bay and come in here, start for 2 years, average 28 points a game? I don't even see a Brett Favre jersey in this place. I saw more Dorsey Levens and Gabe Wilkins jerseys than Brett Favre. This guy has come in here and lit a fuse for the future that is unbelievable.
Is that why you brought up Dorsey Levens before?
Yeah, I was just making an excuse. Yes. This guy's amazing.
No one's saying it has been terrific. I'm saying before you put him in the Hall of Fame, win a couple playoff games.
He'll win a few.
Then I'm with you.
Incomplete as Rodgers was knocked down. As the Colts brought pressure, and they'll force a punt. Let's talk about that punting. We mentioned earlier Chris Bryan and Tim Mastey are alternating punts here in the evaluation process. Bryan had a 38-yarder with poor hang time last time around.
And the way the Packers move the ball, this is the area that Mike McCarthy wants to see execution. He wants to see the ball down inside the 20.
Mastey, former All-SEC kicker at Kentucky. His kick was tough to catch and Muff recovered by the Packers.
That'll help his cause.
Corey Hall falls on it. It's a touchdown because the muff was recovered in the end zone. And it's bad for that guy who's trying to win a job, Brandon James out of Florida.
Oh, it's just devastating. They bring James in here to win this job. I don't know if he loses it in the lights or he just misjudges it. But they've tried rushing and Chad Simpson. They really wanted this young man to step up. And there's no worse feeling as a head coach when you muff a punt and the other team gets an easy one on you.
Is that the receiving team muffed the punt and it was recovered in the end zone by the kicking team. That is a touchdown.
Just go back. You cannot advance a muff punt if covered in the field of play. It goes right back to that spot. But since we're covered in the end zone, and a very tough moment for the rookie out of Florida, James, who had 4 punt returns for touchdown in his Gators career. But great hang time, over 5 seconds on the hang time for Mastay on that kick. And he's doing the holding as well here tonight. Mastay and Chris Bryan, those 2 punters battling for the job, are going to be the punter and holder as well. And it's Mastay's turn to do it here tonight. On the mistake, the Packers take the lead 21-17. And we remind you the Little League World Series, that great couple of weeks in Williamsport, concludes this weekend. The International Championship game tomorrow or Saturday afternoon on ABC at 1 Eastern. Then the U.S. title game. Texas will take on the winner as Georgia and Hawaii continue to battle in their bracket. Little League World Series presented by Frosted Flakes Reduced Sugar on ABC Saturday. Really enjoy watching those games. Those kids have the time of their life. There was a little kid for Texas, number 8, Matt Betancourt, who made a play in the outfield today. His smile was worth $1 million. It's been fun to watch, and they'll award the championship there this weekend. All right, this guy who had 4 SEC and 11 Florida return records. He's going to have that heart thumping here a little bit. A million thoughts underneath that Colts helmet right now.
He's going to want to bring this one back. He's going to want to make amends for that mistake. He should have fair caught that punt. There was pressure on him from Derek Martin. Catch it or just let it go in the end zone. Don't try to be a hero, but sometimes try to make a team to try a little bit too hard.
Always have stories of guys trying to make it in the preseason, especially here in Game 3, the dress rehearsal game against the best players. It turned out to the 26-yard line by James, one of many rookies in the spotlight tonight.
I love to see guys like Frank Zombo from Central Michigan. Guy who has a chance to make the team tonight. Let's take a look at how he's doing. This guy's playing because Clay Matthews is out of the lineup, undrafted. He gets off the block from Tony Hugo, separates, makes a tackle. Here he is, rushing on the outside against Ryan Dean. Off goes Peyton Manning, good pursuit, nice chase. In the last play, you see him reroute the tight end. Cuts it underneath, makes a tackle. They want to see some pass rush from this young man. Keep an eye on him tonight. They need him.
Zombo's number 47, the bottom of the screen, and the guy, the outside backer playing on the other side, Brady Papinga knocks it away. John, you mentioned Clay Matthews' hamstring injury off that 10-sack Pro Bowl rookie season. They've moved him from right outside linebacker to left in this 3-4.
Yeah, they want to keep him away from Cullen Jenkins. They'll have Matthews on the left. They'll have Jenkins on the right. Distribute their pass rushers better. But they need another rusher. They need another guy to step up. Great time to do it in a 2-minute drill.
And against Peyton Manning, who throws an interception to the rookie Morgan Burnett. Brought down by Garcon at the 18-yard line.
Morgan Burnett has shown up tonight. As John stated earlier, he was given the job back in April, is given the job. Tonight, he's earning the job, making plays in deep pass coverage. Here, reading Peyton Manning's eyes, making the interception. Peyton's looking, going, what is going on? Where did that guy come from?
Well, take a look at him. He's playing on the 2-deep safety right here. There comes a blitz off the left side, and he jumps the under route. Excellent anticipation, good recognition. Not a lot of people steal one from the sheriff at any time, and Peyton knew it right as it left his hand. Nice disguise.
Earlier tonight, Burnett was beaten for a touchdown. Rookie comes up with a big play. Brandon Jackson the back. Rogers throws to Driver. What a rifle that was. And Driver with great skills at age 35.
How about Donald Driver? We talked to Greg Jennings, the great receiver of the Packers, a young emerging star. He can't say enough about the conditioning of Donald Driver, Jaws.
Donald Driver just keeps on making plays.
#1 receiver in Green Bay Packer history. What is it, 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons? Amazing pro.
His 12th season.
The only record he doesn't have, James Lofton has the yardage record. He's 617 yards away from that. Gun run with Jackson, who lost the football. Garth DeFelice, the umpires, right in the middle. He's taking bodies out of there. The hit came from Clint Session. Mike McCarthy's team lost it. Colts ball on the recovery.
And it comes back to Ryan Grant. The one thing that separates him is his reliability. He takes care of the football. And as much as they like Brandon Jackson, this is the one thing you can't do for Mike McCarthy. They cannot stand turning the football over, especially in the scoring zone. Nice work by Indianapolis.
You can't turn it over for any coach, not only Mike McCarthy. You got to protect that football. And the one thing, you get to plus 24, like the Packers were a year ago, you got to hold on to the rock. Mike will not be happy with that fumble, especially down there inside the 10-yard line.
So we've had the muff, the pick, and the fumble. 3 turnovers in 54 seconds, and Manning's back out. At the 44-yard line.
Are you kidding me?
That was amazing.
You throw an interception, a lot of guys go over there, they put their chin on their chest. Peyton Manning stands in there against the blitz. Good pickup by a die. Is that well thrown?
Nothing but a long handoff.
8 of 36. The die runs to the right. B.J. Raji over there to make the tackle as we hit the 2-minute warning. Trail by 4. Just watch where this ball lands, huh? Full speed, full stride. Placed perfect. Toyota halftime show is coming up. We have Stuart Scott and Tom Jackson. Sam Bradford's already thrown a couple of touchdowns. See how he's doing against the Patriots. They have a lead right now. The Packers have a great tradition. So many here at Lambeau. One of them is a great part of preseason. We'll share that with you. And Tiger Woods returning to form. First round of the first playoff event of the PGA Tour season. Stuart and TJ will have that coming up on the Toyota halftime show. 2-minute warning. Manning is pressured, hit by Nick Barnett, and the pass comes up short and incomplete. Both Barnett and Charles Woodson pressuring Manning.
Oh, I love the disguise by the Green Bay Packers. This blitz came off the left side. You'll see it down here at the bottom of the screen. Late. Manning never saw it. Timely blitz. That's midseason form by Green Bay.
Peyton wanted Joseph a guy to move. Now he gets him set there. So now he's coming over to get Raji. But Woodson's coming over to get Reggie Wayne. Minus yards on that completion. And after the long one to Wayne, a punt for the Colts.
And Tramon Williams sniffed that one out. In that situation, Manning loves to go to that bubble screen to the outside. You'll see it right here. Look at Tramon Williams hit that, and then Charles Woodson finishes it off.
Packers take the first of their 3 timeouts with $1:44 left. Bill Blackman goes back. You talk about Charles Woodson, John, a guy you had as a head coach in Oakland.
First guy ever drafted. Charles Woodson, the MVP of defense last year. Look at this tackle. How many guys even imagine that play? He'll blitz. He'll knock that ball loose. There's not a better strip artist alive than Charles Woodson. He goes for it repeatedly. I said it earlier. If you want him to cover a big receiver, you want him to cover a tight end, call Charles Woodson. And he's getting better, and he flourishes in this defense. Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, says he reminds him of his former Hall of Famer, Rod Woodson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good comparison.
Guys who are extraordinarily productive in their later years in the league as well. McAfee kicks to Blackman. Will takes it. Oh, he mustered 2 from the 10. Now he picked it up. Now they put him down. And a penalty marker down, back by the kicker, McAfee.
Holding against the offense, number 33. That 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Melvin Bullitt added there for the 10. You mentioned the comparison that Dom Capers, longtime defensive coordinator, put on our radar. Twice a head coach of the league as well. The Woodsons, unrelated, accepting greatness. If you look at their numbers over the years.
Well, Dom Capers would know, but what I really like about how Dom uses Charles is it depends on who they're playing. We want him to play nickel, we can play him at nickel. He knows the game. You want him to play free safety, strong safety, whatever it takes. Dom Capers calls on Charles Woodson to get it done. But Charles and Rod Woodson were excellent cornerbacks for the start of their career, and they evolved into great playmakers as football players.
And Charles has become just a wonderfully philanthropic guy as well. He did an event this past summer in Ann Arbor, Michigan. He, Steve Hutchinson, and Brian Greasy raised over $1 million. University of Michigan Children's Hospital, Charles' alma mater. He gave them $2 million in a donation right after Thanksgiving last year. It's really been a great time in Charles Woodson's life on and off the field. Rodgers 2-minute drill from the 22. A gain of 9 with driver to start in front of Deshae Townsend.
Aaron Rodgers is doing an excellent job changing his setup, 3 steps, 5 steps, and he's working forward most of the time, stepping up away from these wide, fierce pass rushers that the Colts have.
So the umpire's back in his old spot behind the defense. Fullback John Kuhn with a gain to the 35.
He ran over Jordy Nelson, his wide receiver, trying to make a block on the perimeter.
Kuhn, because they were low in halfback numbers, was the 3rd halfback in their game in Seattle last week. Versatility that can help you make roster decisions when cutdown time comes. In traffic, caught by Finley right at the first down mark.
How many guys can double pump that in-breaking route? I mean, Aaron Rodgers wanted to throw it. There was a linebacker in the lane. He double clutches it, then throws a laser to Finley.
Well, take a look at the awkward delivery. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. He brings it back. He can throw it through people, around people, over people. The guy's an amazing pocket quarterback. Take a look. You got Freeney on one side. You got Mathis on the other. You know they're going to be wide, fierce pass rushers for the most part. Step up, step into your throws, and be accurate. Aaron Rodgers has done an excellent job in the pocket tonight. Be nice if he could cap this drive off.
Well, so if you're going to get that rush from the outside, you got to step up. That means the guys up front are doing a good job. College Wells and sitting solid right in the middle.
Rodgers, another shot down the seam for Finley. Inside the 30, gain of 26.
Now Aaron Rodgers is surgical right now. He's just cutting up that Colts secondary.
Rodgers will get up and spike it with 23 seconds to go.
And you can see how quicker and easier the tempo is when the umpire is spotting the ball in his old spot. You see how quickly Rodgers got that big game, raced down there and spiked it? But how about this throw in the pocket?
This just anticipation. Throw it off Bullett's back shoulder. Only Finley's eyes are back at the quarterback. Bullitt can't see it. Well, that is squeezing it into a tight window.
And in that look, guys, you can just see the size advantage of Finley working against those safeties. He was, you know, a helmet above everybody. It gives Rodgers a wonderful target down the seam. To the 50. Here's the final timeout with 16 seconds left.
Aaron Rodgers never steps. He has a wide base. As soon as he gets to the setup point, at times that ball is gone. Watch Rodgers in the pocket. He's going to get the shotgun snap. He's going to find his tight end on a crossing route right here. No step,
Wow.
It's all just fast twitch above the body movement. And how can you be this accurate with the football? I love watching this guy. I think he's an elite quarterback. He's just reached that.
Hey, Ron, you know what I like what you said? And when he told us, he's improved his arm strength over the time here that he didn't play and has played the last 2 years.
Well, Mike, I'm a big believer in the old school way of developing your quarterback. You know, let him get accustomed to what it's like to be in the NFL. Work in the offseason, study in the offseason, play behind a wily old veteran. So when you get the time to be a starter, you are prepared to be a starter. A lot of guys get thrust into action before they're ready, and they get pummeled too early, and they're not ready. Aaron Rodgers is a great example of how to develop a quarterback. Props to Mike McCarthy.
No timeout, 16 seconds left, so if it's in the field of play, they'll be ready to kill the clock quickly. In the field of play, Jordy Nelson down at the 6, no timeouts. Can they get the clock killed? Look at the Colts at the flag. Good call. Great call by the official there because as the ball was on the ground, Kelvin Hayden pushed it. It'll be delay of game in all likelihood, taking it half the distance and giving a choice to Green Bay.
Mike, they probably would have gotten the ability to spike the ball. They would have got that off. Usually you practice about 12, 13 seconds right in that area to have a completion, inbounds, run up there and spike the football. They still would have gotten the spike off and kicked the field goal.
Delay a game against the defense, number 26. Penalties assessed half the distance to the goal line. Still first down.
And that's a situation offensively that you teach your receiver as soon as you catch it, go down. So in the huddle, a lot of the times the quarterback will preview that, heads up for a down.
Well, it's interesting. They're going to run a play here rather than kick the field goal.
You have a chance to huddle. Defensive foul there. So as it's marked ready for play, the clock doesn't start. So you have a chance to huddle with 7 seconds and make your choice.
How about Jermichael Finley?
That's what
right
I'm
here.
thinking.
He lines up in the slot, but it'll be at the bottom of your screen. Rodgers, James Jones. Another Lambeau lead cover.
This is like driving across the country to a quarterback clinic tonight. Aaron Rodgers was amazing in that 2-minute drive. Great command of the situation, made all kind of throws. And this throw is magnificent. A back shoulder fade to James Jones. There's nothing at all.
How about the trust
Lambert can do?
You have to trust your receiver.
That's unbelievable.
You know, if Lambert undercuts that thing, it's going 102 the other way. You got to trust James Jones, and Aaron Rodgers certainly did.
And Greg Jennings isn't playing tonight. 28-17 as Jones becomes the 4th different Packer to score tonight. Our visit with Aaron Rodgers had many interesting aspects to it, talking about his great believer in fundamentals, going back to quarterback school with Mike McCarthy right at the beginning of the season, the offseason, break down all the fundamentals. But he's become more open about the things he's overcome. And not just the Favre stuff. Go back to his days at Cal, where he was tutored by Jeff Tedford. He said, hey, I played with torn ACL, with other injuries, and didn't get credit for my toughness because people didn't know about those injuries. And that's a little bit of the chip he plays with on his shoulder now.
He played with a broken finger. He told us of numerous injuries that he had while he was at Cal. And you know what, quite honestly, I like a quarterback that has a little anger, plays with a chip on his shoulder, a la Tom Brady. I was a 6th-round draft choice, and I win 3 Super Bowls. You know, when you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's still angry about being the 25th pick in that draft. He thought he should have went higher. So I like a guy that has a little angry edge to himself.
Now, what about Mike McCarthy? Where does he fit in this? I don't know of anybody other than Bill Walsh that pulled off having a legend succeeded by another one. Mike McCarthy deserves a lot of credit for coaching Aaron Rodgers, bringing him along, and setting the stage for one of the most amazing things I've seen.
Quarterbacks gave us a good show. 34 completions, nearly 400 yards of total offense, and 5 touchdown passes. Here's Stuart Scott with Toyota halftime show. quality football in this preseason. Both offenses giving it to you, especially Aaron Rodgers and the Packers leading by 11. Mike Tirico, Ron Jaworski, John Gruden, Michelle Tafoya coming up here in a little bit. How good was Aaron Rodgers that first half, guys?
Really good, and I got to give Mike McCarthy credit. That battery of Mike McCarthy calling plays, Aaron Rodgers' execution, that supporting cast is exciting to watch.
How about the entire offense? Not just focus on A-Rod. They ran 41 plays. It's a high-volume offense. Last year, they averaged 65 plays a game. That first half, 41. The more plays they get in the game, the more opportunity for big plays.
Chasten West going to bring back this kickoff as we'll get to guys trying to make an impression and make the team. He took it to the 29. No fumble. He was down. How about the best of Rodgers from the first half?
How about nonverbal communication? How about if I look your way and stare you down, I'm going to let it rip. And that's what he did early in the game. Touchdown, Donald Driver. Later in the game, hey, James Jones, if I look you down, give it to me. And Rodgers catches, releases, touchdown. This is unbelievable. The calm, cool poise of Aaron Rodgers and his accuracy and location is off the charts.
Rodgers out. Matt Flynn, the backup quarterback for the Packers, is in. And Brandon Jackson on this first carry. And Jackson gains about 5 yards. Flynn in his third year out of LSU. You might remember the draft in 2008. They took Brian Brom in the second round. Flynn, who came off the title at LSU, followed Jamarcus Russell. Yet he's the LSU quarterback still in the league. Flynn was also taken in that round. Brom lost the opportunity to win the number 2. Shipped last year to Buffalo. And now Flynn firmly entrenched as the backup to Rodgers. Their third quarterback is Graham Harrell, a free agent out of Texas Tech. Colts first-team defense still out. Spencer Havner makes the catch. One of my favorite players in the league. Havner takes it to the 47-yard line of first down.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Do some research on Havner. You're just going to see a quick stick out to the outside, and once again, Flynn throws a nice pass. But I've seen this young man, Spencer Havner. Last year, he caught 4 touchdown passes. He covers kicks. He even plays defense. This is a throwback Green Bay Packer football player.
Has played all 3 phases of the game multiple times last year. And the plan in some of these preseason games was 1 half of offense, 1 half at linebacker. That's taken across midfield by Brandon Jackson. Pat Angerer made the tackle. And again, if you're just joining us, Gary Brackett was hurt in the first half for Indianapolis. Jacob Lacey, a concussion as well. He's out. So some injuries on the defensive side for Indy tonight. Session moving Angerer, the rookie, around as that hot shot by Flynn was incomplete.
To Dillon.
It was intended for Charles Dillon out of Washington State. What do we have here with Matt Ryan, Josh? With Matt Flynn, excuse me.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's pretty good, by the way. Yeah.
Flashback.
And you know what? I like Matt Flynn. You know, we were here a couple years ago and during training camp, and I watched him. You could see he was a raw rookie, wasn't quite getting it. Here we are 2 years later. We're out of camp on Saturday. I'm watching him throw, on Tuesday, watching him throw the ball around. He looked like a quarterback now in command of the offense. It's amazing what a couple years of working this McCarthy system will do for you.
Go out to the left and throw it on the run. It is complete to Patrick Williams, first-year receiver of Colorado.
You know, Mike McCarthy has been a part of developing Jake Delhomme early in his career in New Orleans. He's had Matt Hasselbeck. Obviously, he had
Aaron Brooks.
He had Aaron Brooks. But he likes Matt Flynn. He compares him to Jake Delhomme at this stage of his career. His development is getting better and better and better every year, and he likes this young man. And I believe it.
Doesn't have as much grit as Jake Delhomme, but showing that development early in his career. Pass incomplete, intended for Dillon.
You know, when you watch the Indianapolis Colts now on defense, when they huddle up, they're going to get their defensive signals from Pat Angerer, a rookie out of Iowa. Remember, Gary Brackett, who's got over 600 tackles in the last 5 years, is out. We don't know for how long. But all of a sudden, this young guy's not just playing. He's thrust into a key leadership role and a communication role for the AFC champions.
Flynn already has a feel for this offense, redirecting the play at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10, pocket closing. Flynn will get a couple of yards as Dan Muir out of Kent State, the former Packer, waived by Green Bay a couple of years ago, chased him down. Brackett hurt his arm in the first half. That's the guy in the middle of the defense, and here's a 2nd-round pick, not under these circumstances, but you get to see him handle the huddle and call the defense. And he did a good job in his first preseason game.
And I don't want to underestimate how hard it is to play this position. You saw what happened to the Giants last year when Antonio Pierce went out. You saw what happened to the Bears last year when Urlacher went out. This is a real test for a young player.
Second-round pick out of Iowa was picked up by the center. Jordy Nelson the catch for the first down at the 27-yard line. Just a good job by Flynn against the first-team Colts defense.
I really like it. You're going to see Jordy Nelson on your right, but it's a blitz situation. Flynn knows how it's picked up. He trusts his protection. Nice job by Brandon Jackson. How about that throw?
That is spectacular, John. Again, that's trusting your protection that they're going to pick up that blitz and hang in there. Good young quarterback. Wow.
Mitch King running out there to make it 11 for Indy. Jackson gets about a half yard. You mentioned that, John. Jaws, I mean, you remember being a young player and going in the huddle. You kind of stand there, and all of a sudden there's Freeney and Mathis, and you're a rookie. And you've watched these guys on TV for years, and you watched them in the Super Bowl, and now you're calling the signals for him. Hello?
Yeah, you got to yell out, hey, close left, close left. And you got to yell at Freeney to make sure he gets the call. Hard to do. You got to earn the respect of these veteran players, and this is where you earn it in these preseason games.
Nebraska Jackson going left, losing 2. Clint Session still in there with the lead group over there.
You know what I like, Mike, even with Flynn in the game, still the up-tempo. They're getting in and out of the huddle. Flynn gets to the line. He's looked at the defense, checking the play at the line of scrimmage. You can see this Mike McCarthy system. He wants volume. He wants plays. Here they are breaking the huddle with 22 seconds left in the clock. Survey the defense, get into a good play.
And it worked. Drawing them off, 3 plays, shot for the end zone, and incomplete. It's almost like that's, in addition to the 18 other things, the legacy of Favre here in Green Bay, the dummy snap count.
Offsides, defense, number 95. It's a 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Listen, see if you can hear it at home. It takes a lot of work and discipline, not just by Matt Flynn, but by the offensive line. I was almost jumping out of the box here. I mean, that's an outstanding job of holding your water and showing some boys.
I better use my heart count when you're around that. It'll scare you.
Colts have been flagged 9 times for 101 yards. Patrick Williams, inactive on game day 3 times last year, his first year out of Colorado.
Give Mike McCarthy credit here, too. It's a full blitz. Mike McCarthy calls the right play. It's all-out blitz, and they're going to move the pocket away from the blitz to give Flynn time to handle the pressure and give him a shot to make a nice throw. Excellent play calling, good execution. You have to be impressed with Matt Flynn early in this 3rd quarter.
And this second-team offensive line as well has done a good job on this drive for the Packers. Evan Dietrich Smith is the snapper. Flynn through the hands of Donald Lee. And incomplete. And there's the story. Donald Lee, who has been a starter on this team the last few years, could be trying to win a job here with Green Bay.
Well, Donald Lee's been a starter for a long time with the Green Bay Packers. But when you look at Jermichael Finley and his growth, he is going to be the starter. This is a team very deep at the tight end position. So Donnelly is fighting for one of those positions, but what a class guy and a great team player that he is.
Caught 37 balls last year. This play 13 of the drive. John Kuhn coming in to take a fullback carry for about a half yard.
One thing about Mike McCarthy, though, he loves tight ends and fullbacks. He loves the size of these guys. He loves tight ends because they can do anything. They can line up as a receiver. They can play tight end. They can shift back and become a fullback. They can protect the punter. They can run down the field and cover kicks. He loves tight ends. And keep your eyes out tonight for this youngster they have out of Penn State, Andrew Corliss. You'll see him later.
They had 8 tight ends and fullbacks on the roster. Colts were playing with 12, got to 11. Havner was the intended receiver with Kelvin Hayden covering. Eric Foster knocked down the quarterback and will have a field goal attempt.
You know, John, you were talking about the tight end position. You know, they have 5 of them. They got 3 fullbacks, couple halfbacks. And Mike McCarthy told us in a meeting, this is the most athletic team that he's ever had here in Green Bay. He really likes the look of this team. It's the team that he envisioned when he first became the head coach. So he really feels good about the group of guys he's assembled up to this point.
General Manager Ted Thompson, a lot of the drafting and developing is the mantra of this franchise. 28-yard field goal popped in by Crosby. 31-17, Packers looking strong.
DirecTV. Watch your favorite team wherever you live. Only on DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV to switch today. And Bridgestone. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing.
Stadium opened in 1957 as City Stadium. Season 54. No other NFL team has been playing at its current home as long. You know who's next on that list? The team that's been the longest in the same stadium? No, Soldier Field's rebuild.
Oh, okay.
And Wrigley Field in there as well. Tim Mastay in the punting job with the kickoff. Turn opportunity for Brandon James, brought down at the 26-yard line. Qualcomm Stadium, San Diego, second longest. Charge has been there since. Peyton Manning will come back here to start the second half. There's frustration at the end of the half. The Packers have scored the last 24 in this one. All month, USA Football Month celebrated. The official youth football development partner of the NFL Players Association, all 32 teams in the league. USA Football teaching the sport's fundamentals and values to the millions of kids and adults who comprise America's football community. Youngsters like those guys right there. USAFootball.com. More info. Peyton back to start the second half. Manning finished the first half 2 for 7, 1 interception, and frustrated by several things. Manning's throw is for Reggie Wayne, ruled a catch at the 37. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, yeah, at halftime, just as the teams were going in, Mike, the officials were having a rather heated conversation down here on the field about the way they're getting lined up before every snap. And remember that Peyton Manning, as you mentioned, you guys detailed this, that no-huddle offense, he needs that umpire deep quickly. Well, they did have a penalty call for an illegal snap. Spoke to Jim Caldwell about that at halftime. He said, look, this rule is supposed to be about protecting the umpires, not affecting our tempo of offense. And he said it really is affecting our tempo, and our tempo is a huge part of our offense. So they've got to work on this rule, and they've got to make some adjustments. That's according to Jim Caldwell at halftime, Mike.
That's very interesting, Michelle. Bill Polian is general manager of the Indianapolis Colts. He's been a long-time, well-heard voice in the league. Part of the league's competition committee over the years. They put this rule in effect. Anthony Gonzalez, the catcher, a couple of yards. Again, the rule was put in for the safety of the umpire because there was 100 collisions, 3 injuries, a couple of surgeries when the guy was back there behind the defense.
3rd and 8 for the 41.
And there he is spotting the ball, now getting out of the way.
This guy's getting more publicity than...
Oh, another flag. Yep, another flag.
This is really going to take away from some great football this year, I believe.
Illegal snaps on the offense. Number 18. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt either. But, you know, being an umpire is not for everybody. They don't move the catcher in Major League Baseball behind third base or behind the pitcher. I think they got to go back to where it was or change a lot of rules that have been in place for a long time.
You know, get more athletic guys and quite honestly put a helmet on them. I know you're in an area where there's going to be contact. Put a helmet on.
And let's say this, Garth DeFelice is the last of the umpires who wanted to move out of the hole there, as they called. Remember the game against the St. Louis Rams 2 years ago? And the referee, the official, the umpire actually, DeFelice, knocked down the Rams running back. He's one of the guys who understood the contact there in the middle. But it's overall safety, the theme of the game. Manning hit from behind. The ball comes out. Picked up and taken the other way by Robert Francois. Inside the 5. It was Frank Zombo, the guy you pointed out earlier, John, who knocked it out of Manning's hands.
And Joseph Adai is hurt. But it all comes back to the penalty. It puts you in a 3rd and 13. You get in an obvious passing situation. You got to credit Green Bay now for making a play. Strip, fumble. Francois picks it up, and watch a collision between Francois and Adai on the sidelines.
But your guy, Zombo, the Packers were looking for a guy that was going to make a play for him. He made a play. They need their linebackers to wreak havoc.
And that never happens. In the regular season, Manning's gone 45 games without losing a fumble, regular or postseason games. And Zombo and Francois combined there. 35-yard return. It's 1st and goal for Matt Flynn, and John Kuhn is in for a touchdown. Green Bay. And the Woozy Adai helped back to the sideline.
This John Kuhn, he was an excellent back at Shippensburg State. Flynn checks it down, goes through his progression. This is another one of those players that Mike McCarthy loves. These fullbacks and tight ends that can do a lot for you, not only on offense, but in the kicking game.
The Packers are going to have some tough time with numbers at cutdown date coming up.
Crosby the extra point. Mastay in the punting job. The battle has done a nice job holding tonight. 31 in a row, and the Sheriff is frustrated. Tough night for the Colts, and it's a preseason game, so the score. But you have the injury to Brackett. They're getting beat up. They're frustrated with the officials. And now this, Joseph Adai, rolled over by Robert Francois.
You know, there's a lot of action that happens on that sideline. I don't think Adai pulled up. He's going for the tackle. But if you're a young football player, there's a lot of action that happens on that sideline. Remember that.
40-pound difference as Adai was woozy as he was brought over to the sideline. Again, we discussed earlier the injuries that they have on this side of the ball. Charlie Johnson, left tackle, Jeff Saturday, center, and Dallas Clark, your 100 reception tight end, not here tonight. Brandon James, the latest to get licked. Hit hard by Alex Joseph of the Packers. Colts will take over at the 20-yard line in a really big hole.
You owe more than $5,000.
Starting at 7 Eastern. Note the special start time for opening night. New quarterback in for Indianapolis. Peyton Manning's night is done. Second-year man out of Purdue. Curtis Painter is now the number 2. Donald Brown with the carry and no gain. Jim Sorgi had been the backup for Peyton Manning last half decade or so. He's off to back up Eli Manning with the Giants. So now Painter, who came in when the Colts were 14-0 and leading the Jets by 5 in game 15, and then said, no, we're not going to go for the perfect record. Going to protect the guys here. Painter was the one who took over. Limited work in those 2 games, and now the number 2 to Manning. Donald Brown, second straight carry. Nothing on the first one. A few more there. Francois with the tackle.
And I can only imagine Painter getting into the huddle and replacing Peyton Manning. Nobody can emulate the Sheriff. So it's not the same. He's got to earn his credibility tonight. He's got to continue to get better. He struggled in the first preseason game. Played better in Buffalo last week. They'd like to get some quality snaps from him tonight.
You know, there's no guarantee. I mean, Peyton Manning's had one heck of a run, but there's no guarantee. Well, something may happen injury-wise. You got to have somebody ready to come in and play.
Painter, beautiful throw. The catch made by Taj Smith. The heavy hit knocked the helmet of Charlie Pepra off the DB, but Smith holds on with the first down.
Well, Curtis Painter does a nice job here of moving around in the pocket, and he shows outstanding arm strength in getting this ball down the field. Small window to throw it into. Squeezes it into Smith, and boy, I tell you, the bodies are flying tonight. You know, this is the most meaningful preseason game for the teams. The third game is the one that they play their starters the most. They put the most value on the preseason. These guys are going at it.
Checking on Smith after the hit by Pepperin. Slant is caught. That is Sam Giguère, a Canadian out of Sherbrooke, Quebec.
I like the job by Painter. Quick slant. The first window was closed. He waited, and threw a strike into that second window. Bring up 2nd and 1.
Round to the right. He gets the first down.
And Justin Harrell's out there playing defense for the Green Bay Packers. That's their former first-round draft choice from Tennessee. He's missed the last 2 years with back problems, various injuries. But this is another talented big guy that the Packers have. They'd love to get him back. There he is, number 91. You don't want to see him on the ground. That's the one place a defensive line coach does not want to see him.
Pressure up the middle. Painter getting rid of it quick. Gian Robinson the catch. Moving it down to the Packer 31-yard line. Robinson has been the H-back. He's really been the closest thing Indianapolis has to a fullback on its roster over the last 2 seasons.
And that's unique. They're one of the few teams in the league that doesn't possess a true fullback. Robinson is that H-back type character when they want to use a 2-back set, but he's not a specialist at it.
Or they use Eric Foster, defensive tackle, that fullback spot when he's got that short yardage situation.
Not the smoothest fake in the history of the game, but a completion to Colin Clarity. Almost had the ball stripped, leaned forward, and he's just shy of the goal line. Clarity, a first-year player out of Brown.
Well, you've got to be impressed right now with Curtis Painter doing a nice job and taking him right up there with the speed offense.
Yep, and Brown bouncing to the outside. And so a guy from Brown University takes it to the 1. And Donald Brown from across the Rhode Island border and Yukon scores the touchdown.
Nice job by Curtis Painter. Comes in here. You know, you're looking for some positive plays from your backup quarterback. Does a real nice job of looking defenders off, throwing the ball. You see the really, really good hands right there by Clarity.
And just good blocking off the right side as Donald Brown finishes the drive.
Takes the point for Vinatieri. 80-yard drive, 473 yards. What a quarterback controversy, huh?
Oh, yeah. Deputy Sheriff.
Oh, Deputy Sheriff. Jaws.
Thanks,
Very
Mike.
nice.
Thanks, Mike.
And then the regular season starts, of course, 2 weeks from tonight when the Saints and Vikings hook up. And the Packers will have their eye on the Vikings throughout this season. And we'll get started in about 2.5 weeks with that Monday Night Football doubleheader, the 41st season of Monday Night Football kicking off at the new Meadowlands Stadium. First primetime game there. And the Jets and the Ravens. Onside kick attempt here by the Colts is covered by the Packers, and DJ Clark got that one. There's a penalty marker down. You have the Colts who saw the onside kick that they'll never forget in the Super Bowl, pulled off by New Orleans at the start of the second half.
Kicking team number 34. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
It's twice we've had the Colts offside. And good awareness by the Packers not bailing out there.
And special teams play is an area that Mike McCarthy wanted dramatic improvement in. Sean Slocum, the special teams coach, has to be happy with his kickoff coverage. And that's a heads-up play with some of your backups that are playing in that situation. He's got to be pleased.
Matt Flynn back in. Truly one of the cush jobs in the NFL. The backup quarterback for the Packers. Flynn has his pass rejected. The defensive pass rush. I say that because the Green Bay starter hasn't missed a game in 18 years. The Packers have used 2 quarterbacks since the Favre era began, the fewest in the National Football League, obviously. But in the division, just look at the perspective. The Vikings 14, the Lions 19, and the Chicago carousel counts to 21 in blackjack.
Those aren't just 2 quarterbacks, so.
I know they're not, but
that's what it said. Those are 2 great quarterbacks. For 18 years, are you kidding me?
And they're both still in the division. They both get to see each other a couple of times a year. Of course, that was the significant storyline 2 years ago as Rodgers took over for Favre, and then last year when they went head-to-head, the Vikings got the 2 wins. The Vikings won the division.
Well, the Vikings clearly now, they've got some challenges. They really do. Sidney Rice is going to be out. How will Brett Favre be opening day? Once again, when you're going to be 41 years old, how ready are you for football? Well, we're going to find out, I guess.
Rice, Percy Harvin, continuing to be bothered by the migraines. Greg Lumpkin carry. Guys had a hamstring problem and missed a good part of the last couple of weeks, shy of the first down.
And Pat Angerer, their rookie, once again from Iowa, making a tackle in a short yardage situation. He has a nose for the football. The trash doesn't bother him. Watch Angerer fight through the traffic, make a good form tackle. I liked every film I picked up of Angerer at Iowa. He played against the spread option against Northwestern. He played against the 2-back sets, the wishbone. This guy's a football player.
Going for it here on 4th and 1. Flynn will keep it, and he'll pick up the first down, it appears, at the 31-yard line. Okay, SportsCenter update studio. There's Michael Smith.
All right, guys, Patriots hosting the Rams. Tom Brady played into the 4th quarter in this game. This is his 3rd touchdown pass of the night. 2nd to rookie tight end Rob Gronkowski, also a 65-yarder to Randy Moss. Patriots lead 35-33. More in this game on NFL Live following SportsCenter.
Brady in there in the 4th quarter as we watch Bradford's couple of touchdowns. Thank you, Michael. Good to have you with us. Enjoy watching on NFL Live.
Brady's going to work those tight ends this year. Gronkowski and Hernandez.
The 2 teams in the AFC that drafted 2 tight ends, Baltimore and New England, may have hit on both. And Dixon Dennis Pitta drafted by the Ravens. Greg Lumpkin takes it up to the 25-yard line.
But in the history of this league, the quarterbacks, the legends, the guys like Brett Favre, Dan Marino, you don't succeed one legend with another. The only team I can think of that did that was the San Francisco 49ers. And Bill Walsh had a program in place to develop Steve and keep Steve alive while Joe was playing. And you got to give McCarthy, Ted Thompson a lot of credit for setting the stage for Aaron Rodgers. That really impresses me.
You got him as a legend already after 2 years.
The point's interesting as he throws inside and complete to Tom Crabtree out of Miami of Ohio. The point of keeping him alive physically, and he talked about his arm strength, but mentally as well. I remember coming here over the last few years, and Rodgers spent his time studying the opponents and kind of getting them ready. So he was doing a little bit of the scouting of the defense when Favre and the guys would come in and get started, and maybe that helped the mind start ticking, and he understands defense a lot better now because of that time. To the 4th quarter, here one of the cathedrals of sport, Lambeau Field. And a lot of leaping by the guys in green and gold tonight. Now, one of the memorable Monday nights of last year, October 5, Favre beating the Packers in Minnesota, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then, of course, it was the return here to Lambeau, and Favre continuing to light it up. The final tally was 7 touchdowns, no sacks, while Aaron Rodgers was 5 touchdowns, 14 sacks, 7.5 Jared Allen. Ted Thompson, the executive VP and general manager, had to make the decision. He's in the decision chair. The guy to his left was for many years.
Ron Wolf. Yep. Ron Wolf he's up there in the rafters. You see the general manager from 1991 to 2001. He knows a few things about football, I'll tell you that.
He was the one who traded for Favre from Atlanta, brought him in. The legacy, as we know, growing with Mike Holmgren, and then the decision, obviously, to move on. Let Favre go to the Jets as the tight end, Corliss, catches the touchdown thrown by Matt Flynn.
Well, I hate to say it, but that's the guy I told you about a few minutes ago. Corliss out of Penn State, the all-time leading receiver. at the tight end position, that is, in Nittany Lion history. Boy, does he look the part. I think Mike McCarthy goes on the road and says, only find me 6'5" or better tight ends. He is a good-looking prospect.
Defensive holding was the flag. It was declined.
Mr. Flatten up, and Andrew Borlas sells the flat. He takes it up. He's one-on-one with a strong safety. Good body control and concentration.
And a couple of nice throws on this drive and in this half by Flynn, as the extra points added by Mason Crosby, 45-24. We talked about those two games last year. That's the difference in the Packers, who made the playoffs, losing to Arizona 51-45. Highest scoring playoff game in NFL history, the overtime game out in the desert. That's the difference between winning the division, not winning the division. And when you talk to the folks here in Green Bay, I think they point out a couple of things. Jermichael Finley wasn't right yet, the tight end. Their tackle position wasn't solid. They feel if those games happen later in the year, a better chance to beat Minnesota. And it'll be great to watch those two teams likely go head-to-head for the division this year.
You know, it's interesting to see how these two tackles played tonight, Chad Clifford and Mark Tauscher. They go up against Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney. You're not going to find a better tandem in the league than those two guys, and they held up very well. And then you got Brian Bulaga waiting in the wings, another, first-round draft choice that eventually should really help this team on the offensive line once he gets healthy.
Minnesota's had a couple injuries also. Sidney Rice, their great receiver, is going to miss some time. I know this, Aaron Rodgers wants Brett Favre. They want each other, I think. And what a rivalry that has become. Not that it needed any juice, but the Vikings-Packers goes back a long way. And Brett Favre against Aaron Rodgers twice this year. I can't wait for those.
October 24th here at Lambeau, and the game in Minnesota is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Sam Giguère, the Canadian, brought down by Charlie Pepper, who's made a couple of good hits, defense and special teams here tonight.
And that's why Charlie Pepper's here. He has the history of playing on special teams, and I promise you, Mike McCarthy's going to find 4 or 5 guys that are core special teams players. They have got to improve that phase of their football team. Pepra, take a look at him right here. Coming down the field, right down the numbers. Sees the ball all the way, makes a good open field tackle. Those plays go a long way in winning football.
Curtis Painter takes over from the 16. Mike Hart is the running back. Hart with a gain of 5. Nobody in the history of Michigan football carried the ball more than Mike Hart. Over 1,000 carries, and the all-time leading Wolverine rusher over 5,000 yards as well.
Second and 5 from the 21.
Disappointed that Devin Moore is not here for the Colts tonight. He's a kid from Indianapolis, Cardinal Ritter High School, out with an injury. He is trying to make a play to make this team. He's had a decent camp as well. The guys battled the backup Joseph Adai and Donald Brown.
We're into the 4th quarter, preseason game. We always say it, 1 or 2 guys going to make a football team based on how they play right now.
Tom Brandstater, the 3rd quarterback for Indianapolis. Not sure if we'll see him. Tim Hiller, rookie out of Western Michigan, was cut on Monday. So there's 3 quarterbacks now here in the Colts camp, as that pass was incomplete for Giguère.
Once again, I think a good throw by Curtis Painter. 2 deep coverage, man-to-man underneath. He held the ball, let the receiver win on his release. Painter's played well. And Peyton Manning has a whole new dynamic. He's got a new backup quarterback in Painter, new offensive coordinator in Clyde Christensen, new line coach in Pete Metzlars. A lot has changed.
Gaston West back for the punt by McAfee. 54 yards, flag down. West returns 7 to the 27. Interesting night for Clete Blakeman. Had to deal with all the Manning stuff, and he's a first-year referee. He's been an official for multiple years, but his first year leading a crew, and his first national TV game, handling the microphone.
Holding on the receiving team, number 34. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
There's going to be a lot of conversation about the referee tonight.
There is. Manning and the Colts kept pushing the tempo, and it has been a part of their frustrating night as they trail by 21. We're in Green Bay, G-Force fans who are assembled to watch another season, the 90th season of Packer football. Greg Lumpkin to carry. Donald Driver hasn't been around for all of them, but he's been here a long time, and he's standing by with Michelle Tafoya.
Yeah, you enter your 12th season, Donald, and for a long time, you were a favorite target of Brett Favre, and now you've got a young guy. How do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to step in so quickly and be so successful?
Well, he's just been doing exactly what everyone expected him to do. You know, he came in last year and was surprised so many people. I think his first year as a starter, everyone was surprised at what he did. And he came out through for 4,000 yards. Last year, throwing for 4,000 yards. It just tells you this guy just gets better and better every year.
Did he surprise even you in that first season that he started?
No, not at all. You know, I think he had the talent. It's all about getting opportunity. He got that opportunity, and he proved to the world that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League.
And so now you've played for two of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. What do you make of that?
That's good. That's a good combination. I'm not mad at all. So, you know, hopefully I can finish my career and put up enough stats, and Aaron put up enough stats that we can go down in history together.
Between you and Greg Jennings, who did not play tonight, and Jermichael Finley, this is a very nice group of weapons for Aaron. How does this group rank in the time that you've been in Green Bay?
I'll say it's the best of the best. I played with a lot of great receivers before me and during my time, and this group of guys right here, I just told them tonight that we got one of the best groups of receivers that I've ever played with in history. So this is the test. This is a test to see if we can take ourselves all the way.
And that is what a lot of people are expecting you guys to do, Donald, to go all the way. You are one of the favorite picks to get to the Super Bowl. How do you guys handle that success before you've even gotten it?
Well, you know, we let you guys say what you guys have to say, and we just got to play. You know, I think the biggest thing to us is that we can't feed into it. We just got to go out there and continue playing it week in and week out, and you know, let the chips lay where they lay. And when it's all said and done, hopefully that in February we'll win the Super Bowl.
Mike McCarthy said if he has a concern about Aaron Rodgers, number one, it's how does he handle his success, and number two, making sure he stays within the offense. The fact that he's talented doesn't mean he can't go improvise. So how is he handling his success?
He's handling well. You know, he's a California boy. So them California boys, you know, they Hollywood all around. So he grew up with that, so he's fine.
Good luck the rest of the way, Donald. Thanks for stopping.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Michelle, Donald Driver, been here for over a decade, since 1999.
Donald Driver. What a player.
I mentioned earlier, 2-year contract extension, taking to age 38 if he keeps playing at Alcorn State.
You know, my dad was a scout. Jaws on the road, area scout. He's sitting at a little restaurant. A couple of his scouting friends says, you don't need to go to Alcorn State. There's nobody there. Don't worry about it. There's nobody. It's a hard drive anyway. You got to go back in the woods. As his scout, Jim Gruden, got in his car. He drove the 2 hours to Alcorn State. And he came back, and I remember he sent us a report. He says, you know, they got a receiver there named Don Driver. That's the guy right there. Go do your homework.
Yeah.
You'll find players. Donald Driver, one of the great steals in NFL draft history. 7th rounder. Props to your dad. We didn't draft him, though. That's my problem. Yeah. We drafted a center from Wichita State.
That whole story for that ending.
Yeah, I didn't listen. But look what he's done. I mean, this guy comes in here from Alcorn State. Not that that's a bad program. There have been some great players, Jimmy Giles and Steve McNair. Yeah. But look at Reggie Wayne and Donald Driver. These two guys, those numbers, 70 receptions and 1,000 yards for 6 straight seasons. That's amazing production, durability.
A good shout out to your dad, too.
Yeah,
Jim Gruden, one of the good guys. Great to visit with him last year. He joined us on the road. Quinn Porter got the carry. He's from Stillman College, a free agent rookie. His story was neat, too. He's a walk-on, a partial qualifier, wasn't going to be a part of the football team, so he said, oh, how can I be part of the football team? Be a male cheerleader.
Come on.
And there he was, cheerleader there on the sideline. And so what I liked in reading the story was he's watching the plays as he's there cheering.
Come on.
Does that give any confidence to the cheerleader you're working with when you're watching the plays?
No. I wouldn't want to be getting beat out by a cheerleader. No disrespect to the cheerleader.
That's just it. Graham Harrell's the quarterback, handing it to him. To Porter there. Graham Harrell comes out of Texas Tech, and Mike Leach's program put up quarterbacks with very prolific numbers, but much like the run and shoot days that we had at Houston a decade and a half or so ago, how do those translate to the NFL? Well, Harrell has been out for a couple of years, now getting his opportunity here in Green Bay to learn the quarterback position from Mike McCarthy.
You know, he was down in New Orleans, so he learned from a couple pretty good guys down there, and Sean Payton and Drew Brees.
NCAA record setter. Touchdowns, passes, completions at Texas Tech. A nice shot to Chaston West, who's made a couple of catches on this drive.
I don't know how you can argue with production. What this young man did at Texas Tech, just are those numbers right? 15,793, second most. 134 TD passes, that's the most. Mike Leach, the former coach at Texas Tech, he lit people up. And Graham Harrell was a big reason why.
You know, yeah, I agree with you, John. Not to take anything away from Graham Harrell, but you're right. Mike Leach is one of those guys. You put the quarterback in, he's going to put up big numbers. I mean, he was just a beautiful designer of offense and knew how to break down a defense. And it was that short, quick passing game that was very effective.
By Sean Gore, another Canadian, Toronto-born, went to Bishop's College. That's the 31st first down for the Packers here tonight.
And they move the pocket. They get Harrell out clean. He makes a nice throw on the move. They've got three good young quarterbacks here in Green Bay. I don't know that they can keep all three. They have a numbers crunch going on here. You can see they have a lot of talent. They have some very difficult decisions ahead.
It's an interesting segue, John, to talking about building your roster, which is the conversation this time of year around the NFL. Screen to Craig Lumpkin. Good run by Lumpkin. Through multiple tackles. Pass complete to Lumpkin. Takes it down to the 7-yard line.
Once again, you see the screenplay from the Green Bay Packers. It's just part of their repertoire. No matter who's in the game, they seem to have good screen backs and good screen offensive linemen getting out in front.
And the design of these screens is to take it right down the numbers. That's your sidewalk. They tell the back, if you get outside the sidewalk, you're going to get hit. Nice finish by the young back Lumpkin.
Jerry Hughes, 92. The first-round pick for the Colts was there on the tackle. Quinn Porter stopped shy of the goal line. Ricardo Matthews the stop.
Jerry Hughes, the first-round draft choice. There you see him, number 92 at the end of the screen there. He's getting double-teamed, and they're getting some movement, and they're working him pretty good. The youngster out of TCU, the number 1 pick. Jerry's here to rush the passer, but I got to remind you, you're here to play football, and you got to stop the run, and that's something he needs work on, obviously.
Yeah, Tom Crabtree, number 82, the tight end, handled him on that running play.
Walking for Lumpkin, and they handled the number 1 pick, Hughes, easily again.
Yeah, it's a different ball game. I call that the briar patch. Some of these defensive ends like playing on the edge. They like rushing the passer. Hey, you don't get to rush the passer if you don't stop the run. And that's dominance at the point of attack. Nice finish by Graham Harrell in the Green Bay offense. Good drive.
Man, these Packers, I mean, how many tight ends are coming with Finley, Lee, Havner, Crabtree, Corliss? Every guy is making plays in the passing game, in the running game. They have depth at the tight end position.
Well, that is the beauty of it for Green Bay and what they've built, and the problem they'll be dealing with over the next couple of weeks. How do you get down to 53? They've got 52 on the board. Well, if this is the dress rehearsal, then opening night is not going to get a great review for Indianapolis. They have some things to tighten up. It's 52-24. Some of it happening here with the 2s and 3s on the field, but the first-team defense was moved around quite easily by the Packers. Great offensive show by Green Bay. 76 plays, and 426 yards. Jaguar Had to go 5 holes, so he has to take a knee. Good reason to smile and be happy. Preseason's gone very well for that man, his team. Back here in Green Bay, there are 11 different NFL scouts here at the game tonight. You have 2 very good teams in the Colts and the Packers, and they'll be cutting good players. So they were in their seats at 5 or so local time as the players were going through their warm-ups. And this is common when you see good teams in the preseason. Other pro evaluators are there because roster cuts are coming, and you want to be ready to see the guys off the good roster could fortify the bottom portion of some of the lesser teams in the league. Curtis Painter still in the game, threw for Ty Smith again. That pass was incomplete. It's part of the story we were talking about earlier, the decisions that are made. John, what are the discussions on a weekly or a daily basis in training camp about forming the final 53-man roster?
Well, it's hard. You have to find special teams players, so your special teams coach has a big say. But you have to cut the roster to 53 men. And you have to have some numbers as a working landmark of what you're going to hit. 9 offensive linemen, 10 defensive backs, 5 running backs, 5 receivers, 3 quarterbacks. Are we going to keep a long snapper? How are we going to get numbers at each position that give us depth and a chance to play 16 regular season games?
Show us what you did.
Well, we ran a 4-3 defense. I probably wouldn't run that if I ever got another job. But, hey, we kept 9 defensive linemen. And we kept 6 linebackers, 10 DBs, 3 specialists. That includes the long snapper. 9 offensive linemen, 3 tight ends. You work your way up to the quarterbacks. That number has to get to 53. And if you don't have 53 players, sometimes you got to get underneath 53 and use your pro scouts to find a 53rd player from somebody else's team. So the evaluation process is never ending.
Jarvis James, cousin of Edgerrin James, takes the screen a yard shy of the first down.
You know, another thing, too, when we look at that list that John had, it depends on your team as well. That was the team that John put together. You look at a team like the Colts, literally no fullbacks on their roster. Then you have the Green Bay Packers. They have 3 fullbacks on their roster. So it depends on the philosophical approach you have to building your team. What number of players you're going to keep at each position.
Painter goes back to the other side.
I'll tell you what's really hard, too, is as a coach, whether you're the head coach or the assistant coach, you get attached to some of these guys. They've been in here since March 30th or whenever your off-season program starts. They've been working hard for Jim Caldwell. They've been running. They've been lifting. They've been in meetings. They've shown you progress. There's just a little bit something missing that forces you to let them go. And it is hard making those final cuts. Sometimes the salary cap is part of this, but there's a lot of things that come into play. You got to stay on top of personnel.
And those are the conversations that are happening with every NFL team every day in this preseason. A penalty marker is down as Jason Cherry takes it all the way. We'll check the marker. Cherry returning 75 yards for the touchdown.
That's why you don't leave until the game is over. Some of these coaches are hiding players because they don't want these pro scouts to see them. And there's a kid, Jason Cherry, that just rips it 65 yards for a touchdown. The young man from Louisiana Lafayette, 5'10", 185 pounds, gets to touch the ball for 1 play, and he's taking it to the house.
Let's check the penalty marker that was thrown on the Colts sideline as Cherry was catching the ball to run.
We got an illegal receiver who went out of bounds on the kicking team, number 34. That penalty is declined. It is a touchdown.
I think the Packers are loaded. When you put 58 or 59 points up on their
defending AFC champion,
I don't care who you're doing it against. That's impressive.
Well, those 11 scouts that are here from other teams around the league, they're taking a lot of notes tonight. You're a very deep Green Bay team.
That's what the Green Bay Packers want to do. They want to create turnovers on defense. They want an explosive offense. And then they want to get after you on special teams as well. And they've done all 3 phases tonight with an exclamation point.
Yeah, they have Philadelphia in their opener. They look ready right now.
They're already worried about the Eagles, what they're going to see on opening weekend.
Be the mascot.
Good for you, Jason Cherry. Lambeau Leap to remember.
Even Mike's on there.
Good evening. I'm Steve Levy from the ESPN Newsroom. Coming up.
Of the three of us, who would have the best chance of making it into the first couple of rows here at Lambeau Leap?
Me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I would have made it easily.
I love coming here. Jaws, that's a perfect picture. That's how you looked when you played.
Crush you, I know that.
59-24. More points than the Packers have ever scored in a preseason game against an NFL team. Ray Fisher with this kick return for the Colts. And here's Ray Fisher's moment at Lambeau.
Ray Fisher, interesting guy from Indiana. Played wide receiver, moved him to defensive back. They need to find a returner. Nice step forward by Ray Fisher. Take a look at him. He fields the ball. He starts straight up the field. He veers to his right, picks up the block, shows some acceleration. Interesting guys in the developmental process of becoming a defensive back, but he does make a nice play in a kicking game.
He was looked at as a kick returner and muffed the third punt that he saw in an earlier preseason game. He went to high school at Glenville in Cleveland. That's where Ted Ginn Sr., dad of Teddy Ginn, was the coach. Second time Painter has had a snap issue here. And Jarvis James falls on it.
And that's the second time, as you said. That drives you crazy at any point in the game. I don't care who the center is, who the quarterback is. Ron, you know they bring the quarterback in the center out early for practice. You get
every
snaps,
day.
Then they rotate, so you get snaps at the other center. That's just a bad way to finish if you're an Indianapolis Colt. Not good.
Yeah, there are teams that have a cameraman laying on the ground under the center watching that exchange. You know, that's how important it is.
Jaws has not broken down that far. The only one.
I do have some of that, Mike.
The pass was deflected. You know, it's a great night for the Packers. They've done a good job. Here are the issues they face as we spin toward the regular season opener Ron talked about against Philly. Johnny Jolly will not be with them this season. I'll detail that in a second. Atari Bigby, the safety, on the physically unable to perform list. Ankle surgery August 6th. Al Harris rehabbing from the torn ACL. He still looks like he has a little bit to go, so they have uncertainty in those positions. Jolly will not be back, suspended at least through the Super Bowl. They avoided trial on a felony drug charge case that was dismissed. It could have been significant prison time. The result was, from a football standpoint, a suspension for this entire season. Marker down as Painter is taken down. Cyril Obiezer, who was injured earlier, returns to make the play.
Holding on the offense, number 62. That penalty's declined. Fourth down.
But you know, you have to give the Packers credit. Contingency planning. They knew Johnny Jolly had a problem. They draft Mike Neal in the second round out of Purdue, and they're very satisfied with his progression to becoming a big-time player for them this year. They draft Morgan Burnett from Georgia Tech to replace Atari Bigby. They do an excellent job replenishing their roster. And not only do they replenish their roster, they're doing it with very good players. Morgan Burnett looks like a young Darren Sharper tonight, Josh.
Yeah, Ted Thompson does an outstanding job of drafting and developing. That's their philosophy. They do it with a lot of young players.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy, Morgan Burnett. Break on the ball, almost gets an interception. He reads the quarterback, and that is Peyton Manning, by the way. He undercuts an under route, good disguise, good break on the football. Nice start for the youngster out of Georgia Tech. He only played 3 years there, and I think he has a huge upside from the coaches I've talked to here in Green Bay. Don't want to jinx you. Well, we had off to a good start.
Yeah, we had a chance to watch him out of practice. He does have terrific range. We saw the play tonight he made on a sideline go route where Peyton Manning actually looked left, tried to get him to bite to his away from where he wanted to go, and he hung right in there and made a terrific play deep down the sideline.
If he starts opening day, only had 2 safeties who've been the opening day rookies who have started on opening day for the Packers. Nick Collins, who he would start beside the other safety now in his 6th year. And Chuck Cecil did it in his rookie season, 1988. Chuck, who we saw earlier this week, the defensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans.
And they didn't disguise their intentions either. As soon as they drafted him and as soon as he got on campus here, get in the starting lineup. They put the pressure on him to learn it. He's responded.
One area he's got to improve, though, John. He's got to tackle better. You're that last line of defense in the open field. You got to make those stops. That's the area that the Packers think he's got to improve upon.
So let me ask you guys a question. If we're talking about, okay, that's their problems on defense, those are their problems. We know offensively what they have. We've detailed Rodgers, Brian Balaga, their first pick, didn't play tonight because of a hip injury, but they're very excited about him. Future left tackle, might see some action at left guard this year. He's been splitting snaps, first team with Darren College. Give you all that. Is this the Super Bowl team out of the NFC, Green Bay?
I'm not going that far yet. I'm saying they're an NFC. They're an NFC champion potentially. I can't, you know, the New Orleans Saints, they're still pretty good.
Are you guys going to give me a Super Bowl pick out of the NFC or no? Our last preseason game, you want lumpkin carries.
You want it today?
Yes. I want it in 14 seconds here.
I'm going to make my pick, and Lockjaw over here probably won't give you one, but I'm going to still stick with my pick from a few weeks ago.
Go ahead. What is
it? The Dallas Cowboys. I still think they are the most talented team. Now, will they get the Super Bowl? Takes a little bit of luck and good fortune along the way. But I like the talent level of the Dallas Cowboys.
I like the
home game for the
Saints.
Super Bowl.
I like the Saints.
Really?
Spent a few days up there. They still have this quarterback, Drew Brees. They are in year 2 of Greg Williams' system, just like they are here in Dom Capers' second year. They have added a lot of firepower. Some of that New Orleans things that they're doing on offense, I can't believe.
Okay.
What an NFC championship game that would be. And they'll play in Dallas. Jaws will get you a ticket.
Well, there's 5 or 6 teams I think the NFC will have a chance to go there.
I agree with you.
And continuing, one thing they didn't get to see tonight with all the points was the battle for the punter. Chris Bryant punted there. That wasn't a great hang time kick as well, 45 yards, and the return of 5.
What did you pick, Mike?
Are you guys the experts?
Yeah, thank you, John.
You just critique our picks. Who did you pick?
Well, go ahead, Mike.
I think Dallas. I think Dallas. Yeah. Although they have struggled, and talking to some folks from Dallas who've watched them, they have not had a good preseason. First-team offense has struggled. We'll see if they can click it in. They open on Sunday night against Washington in Week 1, but I don't know. It's just the Cowboys having the Super Bowl at home. I just think they'll get there.
Don't want to put too much into this preseason. You know, we talked about the Colts today. Maybe it wasn't their night tonight. Certainly Green Bay looked outstanding, but the Colts never look good in the preseason. They win 12 games every year.
That's right. Javaris James, the carry, takes us inside the 2-minute warning here at Lambeau. 59-24. All Packers tonight. You can see Bart Scott, all those old Ravens on the Jets sideline who painted a New York-sized bullseye on the green and white. It'll be a great opening night atmosphere in the new Meadowlands Stadium. And then the Chargers and the Chiefs, they have made over $300 million of renovations. Arrowhead looks terrific. Clark Hunt, the owner there, has followed in his dad's footsteps and done a great job. That will be the second game of our doubleheader to open up season 41 of Monday Night Football.
Mike, you know, the Ravens, the Jets, we saw them both a couple weeks ago. We spent time at their camps, and they were already looking forward to opening game. They wanted to break camp, and they want to get that rumble going already.
We look forward to that. Guys, as we put a period on tonight, and obviously the success of Green Bay is the obvious takeaway, I think the conversation around the NFL over the next couple of days is going to be what the Colts did with the new positioning of the umpire. A couple of teams that we visited with said, we're going to test it, we're going to test it. Well, they took it to the limit tonight, were penalized a couple of times, and when it happened to Peyton Manning and the Colts on national TV, the conversation will begin in earnest. Will we see this go through the regular season?
Well, it looks like it penalizes teams that want to use the speed, no-huddle, hurry-up style of offense, like the Indianapolis Colts. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like the way this is being operated. I believe that umpires should be behind the line of scrimmage, and I'm all for safety. Don't get me wrong. I think you need to protect that guy, but I say, hey, put a helmet on him. Put some pads on him. But that slows down the game when he has to place that ball and run 15 yards to get in position, and it hurts teams that want to run the no-huddle.
I think they need to compliment the NFL for taking a look at this, the deployment of the officials, but this is not going to work. The no-huddle offense is one of the biggest parts of strategy that we have in our game today. Move him back to where he was.
The competition committee had the conversation. Made the decision in the offseason. Good interception to bring business to a close by Sam Shields. And you're talking about all the guys who are looking for their one moment. Here's another guy trying to make this roster.
You know, Dom Capers told me the only reason he's here is he played receiver at Miami for 3 years and not corner. They are really happy with Sam Shields' progress. That's a big-time play. You don't make these kind of plays when you're in bump and run coverage. Sam Shields is going to be a Green Bay Packer.
You make those kind of plays if you used to be a wide receiver.
Exactly.
You know?
But this guy can fly. Probably the fastest Green Bay Packer they have on their roster. That's a big step up for Sam Shields tonight.
4th turnover for the Colts tonight. That'll bring business to a close. 59-24. Wow. What do you think about our opener, guys? Jets Ravens.
I think this is going to be one of the greatest nights of my life, and I'm not kidding you. These two teams, when they strap it on, they hate each other. Their styles are similar. They can both run the ball. They have physical, great defenses, both talented young quarterbacks, receiving corps in New York, new stadium. I can't wait.
Really simple. A double chin strap game.
That's a good one. Rib pads, make sure they're strapped up.
Well, you guys have been to Lambeau many times. Stadium's been here a long time. The Packers have played 90 seasons, including this one. And that's the most points they've ever given on preseason, regular season, or most points ever scored, preseason, regular season, postseason, against an NFL team. 59 years ago. 59-24, our final score. Green Bay beats Indianapolis. Thanks to our crew. 4 games in the preseason in 15 days, all across the country. What a great job. With John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Michelle Tafoya, our entire crew, Mike Tirico, saying good night from Lambeau. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. We're sending you off to Sports Center.